Hello, everybody, far and wide, and welcome to this forum that looks back in time. Courtesy of Casa D18 Studios, we hope you enjoy what's being called Throwback Thursday. Over the coming weeks, months, and hopefully years to come, we hope that you will enjoy us opening the vaults and archives to look back at some of the most unique content across all of our platforms, whether it's Casa D18 Studios, the Jeff Meacham Network, NoDQ.com, my Sybil YouTube channel, The Sybil Man's Brand, and of course, FTW Productions, hosted by James Hebert at jhebertside95. It basically is just going to offer you a ton of classic content. So with that being said, buckle up, have fun, take a seat, just enjoy life and enjoy wrestling and enjoy what this Throwback Thursday has in store for you. And again, I hope that you stay tuned for many more that hopefully will come too.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from the Jeff Meacham Network. The Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment.
JJ, Jeff, you want to kick this thing off? Because I'm still trying to process everything here.
Yeah, it's like,
who wants to go first?
Well,
Come on in. It's open mic night with your host.
you could maybe say there's really 4 topics, but it's split into 6.
The Renegade, J.J. Williams.
The Sammy and Eddie Kingston thing, which one's the better smelling turd?
And his panel of co-hosts.
I am the founder. We'll call me that for today since we're going with the Jeff Jarrett love theme here this week, according to JJ.
The West Coast Professor, Jeff Meacham.
Karma is karma is karma.
That's professional wrestling! Damn it!
The Simple Man, Noah Foster.
It's showtime! Yeah! How you doing, JJ? How you doing, Jeff?
James.
Yeah.
And the He-Man, James Hebert.
Imagine Bill Burr, Joe Rogan, Paul White, the Baldies! They
you go. It sells itself.
God.
Get in there.
Showed his ass and shit the bed.
He's not Amber Heard.
Give it time, JJ. Give it time.
No, I'm sure Jeff has some stuff that
Dumb move. Just don't pull this bullshit again. You get one.
Tony needs to stop caring about the ratings.
Bradshaw said as long as the ads are in place, we're not going to lose that third hour.
Ring of Honor does not have to be AEW Live. They don't necessarily have to coexist with each other. We kind of saw that tonight to a degree.
Along with a panel of guests.
He's no longer glorious. Don't you bring that up. You want me to rant about what my NXT used to... No, we are done here for the night. I swear, James.
Because you never know who may show up for open mic night.
I leave our company in the capable hands of an extraordinary group of superstars, employees, and executives.
The first thing that came to my mind was, it's about damn time.
Amen!
I literally touched everybody in the state's trash. It's horrible, you guys.
Peyton's new thing is Dennis the Menace, but it's funny because she calls it Dentist the Medicine.
That's great.
When Elliot Taylor came out and did Born for Greatness live, I was popping my pussy, having a great time. I didn't care. I was having so much fun.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Fuck Bill Belichick.
We ended on wrestling, and then you bring in that shit. That's just how the fan goes off the damn rails. Brilliant, bloody brilliant.
And I did not do that right the way I wanted to do it. There we go. Welcome back, everybody, to our coverage of WWE Premium Live Event Night. It is time for our post-show open mic night. As we do every week, I'm just going to make sure everybody's back in the room before I go ahead and do the intros, because I see one screen on, I see one screen dark, and there we go. Okay, there's two people back. There. Okay, so everybody is there. Very good. Okay, so we have a lot to talk about. It's like every time I think we don't have near enough to fill an open mic night, our freaking executive producer in charge of open mic night throws me freaking 6 topics. I'm like, okay, that works. We'll do that. So that's what we're doing tonight. We have 6 topics. You saw them during the lead-in to the trailers. And again, we look forward to everything from FTW Productions as well as the Casa D18 Studios coming up in July. I don't have a video ready all fancy schmancy because I've changed my freaking mind so many times the last 2 days that I didn't want to fuck with it. So I didn't. So there's that. Now, let me bring in the team once they are all back on camera, and I will go ahead and hit the group button, if you will, and we will bring everybody back in. Maybe if they go back on camera. There we go. Hi. Welcome back in, everybody. James is not in there. For some reason, got messed up. Hello, everybody. Of course, Noah Foster and the Renegade J.J. Williams, both in their post-premium live event throes of dinner, which we appreciate, and joining us for open mic night, as he does when he can, James Hebert. James, I have a feeling you are here, and you're going to feel compelled to speak like I feel compelled to drink with these topics tonight. So cheers, bro.
I saw them and I'm like, oh, okay, it's one of these nights. Gotcha.
It's gonna be one of those nights. Yes. And it's all his fault. These are his topics. It's all Jay's fault. 100%. You're still muted, Jay. Hang on.
You're still muted. And so is Noah. And
there we go.
Good Lord Almighty.
I will shoulder full blame for this. I take full responsibility because you know what? I have made it my goal to search out topics for open mic night.
Absolutely.
I look forward to doing this whenever we do it, whether it's weekly, bi-monthly, only on the PLEs, pay-per-views, whatever.
Yes.
I look forward to this. So I'm always trying to find topics for us to really sink our teeth into. And then you figure every Thursday there's the NoDQ review.
Right.
So I'm always trying to find stuff that they're not always touching too. Yes,
definitely.
You know, I want to try and not have our 3 or 4 topics be the same stuff they're talking about.
Well, yeah, that's just redundant.
It's one thing if we have a little bit of bleed over, especially if none of us are on the panel that week.
Exactly.
It's one thing if there's one, maybe 2 things that bleed over, but to have the entire show be the same thing, that feels kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And
absolutely agreed.
honestly, social media, both Instagram, Facebook, and some of the groups I'm in, are pretty much responsible for every single topic that there is tonight.
Yes. And I do see the questions in the chat room. I'm assuming people are either new to the open mic night portion of our premium presentations or just don't remember. We do invite other topics to come into the room. Yeah. However, there is a little caveat, a little quid pro quo, if you will, talking about JJ's movie on Monday. We'll get to that momentarily, or toward the end of the show,
if
actually.
You're referring to Raymond's comments. Those were there before we went to break, so we should go ahead and address that really quick.
No, I am. It's okay. Just it's a question that's not on the topic list, so I'm not going to exclude him in this case. However, for those of you joining us after the fact, and there's not many of you left, you all kind of went to bed, which is fine. If you wish to have your chat Roman Reigns on screen, donate up to $4.98 because we're on the Apple kick here. We go by Apple prices because Apple sucks. $4.99, $9.98. You can add your topic to the queue. But like I said, Raymond will get yours in a second. And if you donate more than $9.99, you can join us on screen and talk about the calamity that you yourself bring onto the show or one of our topics you saw in the interlude. Now, Raymond, Last Man Standing, it's my understanding that the fall, the 10 count can happen anywhere inside the confines of, fill in the confines here. They could say it's within not Raymond James Stadium, Allegiant Stadium. And there it is. There's one. It can happen within the city of Las Vegas, within Clark County, which would mean there'd be another multiple-time championship loser in Vegas. Damn. I said what I said.
And that's another botch because SummerSlam is going to be in Tennessee, not Vegas.
I understand that, but we're talking about Vegas tonight, so I didn't botch. Don't botch me when I don't botch on purpose, dude.
That's why anyway. I didn't say anything.
Yeah. Noah's the botch man. If I get a botch, he's gonna know it. So anyway, he is on me like flies on shit with these botches, and I know this. So he is just ready for that B word, just gonna like pounce on me like a freaking piece of meat, and I understand that. But look at me as a piece of meat. I'm eating a bean. Okay. Anyway, so it's my understanding that they dictate wherever the confines of the Last Man Standing parameters are. So it's pretty much Vince will walk out there and go, "Stadium's pretty big, pal. Falls can anywhere in the stadium," and then that'll be the end of it. Honestly, damn it. There's a long way to say I have no freaking idea what the right answer is. Anyway.
Big G, what's up? Thank you for
Big G's here. Yes, good to see you. Yes, Big G's staying up late because it's almost midnight for him too, and we love him for that.
Happy to be here in the chat room.
Yes, he is, and he's more welcome to join if he wants to. He knows that.
Yes, he's always happy to be.
He's on that non-tier necessary list. Scott is also here, who is a frequent contributor to both the network and the studio. So good to see you, Scott. Let's see. All right, so JJ, since we're not going to talk about the topic I had on the docket when Mikey was still going to be with us, what would you like to talk about first?
You know, you can kind of go through them whatever order you want to, producer man. We were going to do one topic in particular first if Mikey had stayed on because it had somewhat of a connection to him.
Yes, it did.
Why don't we just go with the first one I came to you with this week and talk to you about the fan one?
Oh, okay. All right. So this one
Let's trying to start off hot and heavy because this was the first topic that was brought to my attention this week. And
yeah,
it was
I'll tell you what.
Attention via Bianca Belair's Instagram story.
Yeah, it was something. I'll tell you what. It was not a happy thing.
This is all brand new news to me because you already know how I handle social media. So let's
Yes, exactly. So as I said in the graph that I made up, it was basically Bianca Belair spoke out recently after a interaction with fans gone 100% sideways. And what I mean by that is what was posted in her Instagram stories. Mr. Williams?
Which you have.
It's zoomed way the hell in. Give me a second here.
Zoom it back out. This was posted to her Instagram stories. I saw this Monday morning, so it took place Sunday night.
After a live event out wherever they were. Yeah.
Yeah. So she says, and I quote, "I love my fans, but do not follow me from the venue. We drove 20 minutes from the venue, sitting at a red light, and a fan just ran up to the window, tapped on the window trying to take a picture. Scared the shit out of us. Do not run up to my car window while I'm sitting at a red light at 11 p.m. tapping on the window. It's not safe for me. It's not safe for you. I try my best to stay around and sign as many autographs and take as many photos as I can. It may seem harmless and all in fun to you, but that wasn't right or fair. I was legit scared. Boundaries. And I use the term funny here. I'll go ahead and go first since I sent this to Jeff. The funny thing about all this is if you had seen her story on Monday morning, coming off the heels of that show on Sunday, when she arrived at the venue, she sees little girls, and I say little, we're talking, maybe 13 and under, but young girls dressed like her and Becky Lynch. You see on her stories, her walking up, seeing these girls, acknowledging these girls, asking these girls if she can take a picture with them.
Right.
Whereas usually it's us fans trying to summon the talent over to get pictures with them. No. Bianca wanted to take a picture with these young girls because of the fact that they're out there dressing like her and her biggest rival competitor.
Right.
Bianca definitely acknowledges us, the fans, and realizes that we are essentially her bread and butter. She would not be where she is without us. Like I discussed in the pre-show predictions, Bianca Belair is exactly where they wanted Sasha Banks to be, and she's doing it exponentially better.
Yep.
No disrespect to Mercedes Varnado.
No.
But Bianca kind of took that ball that Sasha started rolling, picked it up, and, pun intended, ran it in for the touchdown. And this is the way she's getting treated. And it's sad because wrestling fandom in general, on a whole, has been escalating to this for quite some time. I have seen firsthand people do this type of stuff.
Jay, you and I were in Vegas when... Yeah.
I have seen firsthand people rush up to talent and try to get acknowledged by them, hunt them down at airports. Like CM Punk talked about in that infamous pipe bomb, waiting for them in the airports just to shove the program under their face and get a signature on that you're then going to turn around and sell. I went to the Ontario Arena earlier this past year. Jeff was there. He met me there, or it must have been late last year because they were doing tribute to the troops the same night.
Right.
So it was late last year. Jeff met me there afterwards. He had a ticket to go and I didn't.
Right.
And there had been superstars pulling up that got bombarded, fans rushing them for autographs and pictures and stuff. And then when we, the ones that were back there minding the boundaries, doing things the right way, we got told no by them.
Yep. Even with their buddies on the roster trying to say it's okay, security got so shell-shocked, they're like, nope.
So, to a certain degree, the superstars are almost welcoming this behavior by rewarding the bad behavior and telling the ones doing good, no. But we as a community need to recognize and give these people their space.
Mm-hmm.
They are only the character they portray from bell time to bell time.
Exactly.
The minute they leave that arena and go to the hotel, the airport, the restaurant, the rental car, wherever, they are not on. No. And they need to be treated just like any other normal individual.
Yep.
They need to be given their space, especially, and yeah, I know things have kind of gotten better in the last 2 years, but we are still in a pandemic era. There is still coronavirus. There are still other issues going around.
Oh, yeah.
They don't know what we may have. We don't know what they may have.
No.
Just because they passed the test and didn't get, dinged for having it that night doesn't mean that they won't test for it the next time they test. All these things need to be thought about and taken into consideration, and especially for the women. Especially for the women. For the men, it's a little less of a deal because push comes to shove, they can handle their shit. It may not look good media-wise, but they can handle their shit.
Right.
I'm not saying that these women can't, and especially a woman like Bianca Belair.
Yeah.
But they shouldn't be put into that predicament in the first place.
No. The other thing, and I'll go ahead and tag in real quick here before I pass on to Noah and James and G when he comes in. G, the link's in your Facebook inbox, by the way.
And if I go off camera, it's just because I'm snacking. I haven't really had anything to eat all day. So if you see
I feel
my
you do.
little
Yeah,
thing,
you crazy.
No. He's been in the studio freaking canning stuff all day, so you wouldn't have to worry about it Monday when he's having family time for 4th of July.
Yeah.
So, dude, he's been a workhorse all day, dude. I swear.
God bless you.
Seriously.
I'm trying to update the league. I'm just looking at these talks. What the fuck, Men's Money in the Bank?
but I'm still on mic. I'll chime in even if you don't see me.
I got you, brother. So we've got Big G coming in. Big G, I'll throw to you in just a minute here. Yeah, it's just one of those deals where, I've seen this as recently as the Dynamite show at the farm, where the people were driving in and getting completely bum rushed by fans who don't understand the word boundary. It's ridiculous. And not to sound profiling or whatever, Bianca's having the problem of also driving while black, which is, in some places still a federal offense because people suck. So if she's sitting there in the passenger driver's seat and somebody comes bum rush her, she don't know what's coming at her. That's terrible. So I was mortified when JJ sent me this topic to talk about. I can't believe it's still happening. And I don't know if I said this on open mic night last week or just talking with the general public or talking with you guys in private. I felt such a disconnect from current wrestling fans being at Dynamite because I watched a couple different things. I watched the bum rushing of the cars as they were pulling in the parking lot, which was just astounding to me to this day.
Yeah.
And then walking around the perimeter of the building, just kind of waiting to go in and getting myself obscenely sunburned, which I was still mad at myself about for days after that. Listening to conversations and just like, I don't have anything in common with these people except the fact that we're here to see AEW. Like their brain patterns are not like, I don't understand how this person thinks or these people think. And it was very sobering, I guess is the best way to put it. But on this particular front with the bum rushing of cars, I've seen it so many times over the years, be it in the indies when I was working, be it at WWE or AEW or, other indies, other big shows, whatever. It astounds me. And Noah, you've been a fan for a long time. I know you've attended shows. You're also the most polite, respectful dude I've ever met in my life. So I know you're not one of those guys. So what does this say to you as a fan? And I'm asking you in particular, just because I know you have such a passion for the wrestling industry, but I can't see you as a car rusher. It astounds me.
It just goes to show how far society has degraded when it comes to making themselves be the center of attention, nor making themselves feel the most important thing towards maybe the wrestling industry too. It just sickens me to the point now you got people bum rushing vehicles just to try and take some selfie or get an autograph or get acknowledged by, at the end of the day, just another human being is absolutely ridiculous. You're not only putting yourself at risk, you're putting others at risk too, not just physically, but mentally as well. Now, anytime Bianca Belair, for all we know, thinks she might hear something or see something like thud on the window behind her, she might be looking over her shoulder. People don't think how much their actions can affect stuff in the long haul. This jeopardizes, again, we already talked about how the wrestling industry is not only heavy physically, it is also extremely heavily mentally. It could screw everything up. So at the end of the day, it just sickens me. And it's the reason why I keep to myself. I'm just a quiet, simple introvert that doesn't even put themselves out there on social media besides talking live wrestling or my true inner circle of friends like you guys and ATW. So hearing this type of stuff, all I could say is you people need to either get a life or you people are part of the reason that the world is the way it is and why the wrestling industry has such a bad publicity. You don't hear nearly as much of this stuff when it comes to other forms of the entertainment industry per se, like somebody approaching Madonna or Lady Gaga or Katy Perry, and they have their own cult followings. So this again just makes me really question where the fuck did we go wrong, humanity? Get your shit together. And
James,
Bianca Belair, I hope you're okay.
Right, James. Let me present you a pair of scenarios. Yep. So back in the old XMV days, I'm talking a SmackDown house show at the Staples Center. I want to say it was late 2003. Don't quote me, Aaron. I forget the. My brain's been scrambled eggs for a year now. Leave me be, boss. We went to a house show. Myself, Aaron. I want to say Aaron's dad was with us that trip, and my old former co-host, which we don't say on the air here.
Yeah.
Aaron, the entire time Brock was out there for his match, I think it was with Kurt, they were chanting, "You tapped out," because he had tapped out to Kurt. I think it was at SummerSlam, I want to say. And Aaron, us being, 20-something-year-old knuckleheads, so did Hogan, because Hogan had tapped out to Brock or Kurt, whoever, the year before. But we're 20-something. We're supposed to be dipshits at 20-something. 20-year-olds are fucking idiots. They are. So if anybody else in the room is 20, sorry in advance, but we're all stupid at 20. We're dumb. So fast forward now, 2022, I'm at AEW at the Forum, and I'm sitting with people that I knew back in the XMV days. And during the entirety of a promo, be it Punk, be it Max, be it whoever, same type of rhetoric chant at person giving promo.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've known you for 20 years, and your approach to the fandom has not evolved. It is stagnated. And it drove me bananas enough where I moved and did a SRO for the rest of the show just to be away from the static in my ear. Couldn't get over it. It was driving me batty. That's the type of fan we're dealing with, people bum rushing cars. And remember, this is at night. It wasn't like pre-AEW where we were out there in the Forum parking lot and it was sunshine. They were still bum rushing the cars, but you bum rush Miro and his freaking big thing in the middle of the day, he's going to give you a glare or he's going to say happy birthday to the person involved or whatever, and then he's going to keep going. You do that shit at night, you may get yourself in some serious shit because you're bum rushing somebody at night, number one. It's so... And again, I've never been to a show with anybody in the room except for JJ, so I can't speak. I assume about Noah because of how I've observed him being. I don't know how your fandom is, James, but for me, reading
Not
stuff
like
like
that.
For me, reading stuff like Bianca's story just makes me want to hurl.
Right. Yeah. There's really no other way to say it. It's unacceptable. I've seen people do that too. I've gone to a few different wrestling shows in my life. I've never thought of once trying to bum rush somebody's car. It's just, you don't even think about that unless you're just, I'm sorry, unless you're mentally tapped. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You're not going to get me sugarcoating it. I mean, you need
I wouldn't expect anything less.
You need psychological help if you're doing shit like that.
Yeah. Or you need to stay your ass home, watch shows at home, and not, put your crap out there with other people.
Exactly. The whole idea of people going to wrestling shows is like any other form of entertainment. They're going there to have a good time, not going there to be a public nuisance and drive people away from the industry. That's not what you're there to do.
Nope.
You could have your likes, your dislikes, but don't be fucking obnoxious about it.
No.
And that's
yeah.
that's really where the issue comes down. Is like, the people can get so outrageous sometimes that they'll do shit like chasing somebody's car all the way until 11 o'clock at night. And honestly, shame on the freaking parents as well, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Like this is what you encourage. You encourage this type of behavior.
Yeah.
Because the 13-year-old girls didn't just drive themselves.
Well, okay. Well, you're mixing the stories. The girls were out in front of the arena the next day, and Becky and Bianca approached them because she was so touched by the fact that they were actually dressed like her and Becky. The people at night were adults running down the street 20 minutes away from the venue.
Okay.
At nighttime. World of difference, which is why Bianca was so what the F about it, because it's like,
that's bullshit.
The show's been over for an hour. We're 20 minutes down from the venue, and you're still what the hell? That's a seriously. When I was working the Indies out here in Southern California, once the show was over, unless I was coming back here because the show was over in Newhall, I got into my car. The car I was riding in, and I crawled in the back until it was time for because I didn't have much shit with. I didn't bring any gear because I didn't wrestle. I crawled in the back of the car and hid until it was time to go. I don't want to deal with those people because they're crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy shit. That's all.
It's awful.
Yep. It's not a good look for our industry, and you guys are exactly what's wrong with it. That's not only just with wrestling. That's across all forms of entertainment. You guys need
that's what Scott was saying. It's when you have a guy who you don't ever talk like that, like Tom Hanks, talking to the fans like that for bum rushing Rita on the way to the car out in Hollywood. If you get Tom Hanks to swear at you, you're the one that messed up, okay? Because Tom Hanks is the most easygoing dude in the history of Hollywood. And because you made the dumb shit decision to bum rush his wife, trying to have a conversation, whatever the hell you were thinking, and Tom had to literally push you off and give you a stern talking to, like, it's crazy. And G, I'll go to you. I've always been an enemy and a hater of the dueling chant thing.
Right.
The fandom mindset has devolved so much since that became a thing. Mm-hmm. And it's frightening. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah, because I saw that, I think I saw that post like the next day on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I mean, James nailed it like perfectly. It's like all over everywhere. I was listening to the radio the other day about this stalker that's been stalking Ariana Grande for like the longest time. Right. And how he has she has a oh my god, I'm drawing a blank here. What am I thinking of?
Restraining order?
Yes, thank you. Restraining order. Mm-hmm. And he broke that, and so they got another restraining order and stuff like that. It's ridiculous. But anyways, back to Bianca Belair and this, the crazy fans. People. Shill out the money. Go to meet and greets. Right. WWE has the cricket meet and greets every once in a while. Mm-hmm. If you want to meet somebody else, besides Bianca Belair, go to the meet and greets that are all over the U.S. or if you're in the U.K. or whatever, do that. Now, we went to Atlantic City, New Jersey a couple months ago at the AEW show.
Oh, okay.
And the hotel we stayed at, there was a bunch of AEW wrestlers that were there that were staying there. Because, literally, the arena was like a 4 or 5 minute walk from on the boardwalk.
Exactly.
I know where it is. Okay, I got you. Yeah.
So, my buddy Daniel, my best man in his family, his son is a big Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus fan. I don't know if he's a Luchasaurus fan anymore.
I was saying he's got to be having the mucker for over a week.
So he happened to bring his Luchasaurus toy and Jungle Boy toy action figures, and it was funny. They got into the hotel, and they were on the same elevator as Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. Nice. So they took the time out of their time to take a picture with him and sign their autograph, sign the toys, and take pictures with the toys as well. That's the right way to do it.
Yep.
You know, and don't go bombarding.
No.
You know, like I said, if you have the money, go to a meet and greet. They have. WWE hasn't done it in forever, but I know AEW has meet and greets before the show.
Yep.
Usually, fill out the money. If you're that
Impact does, AEW does. Yeah,
if you're that desperate,
yeah,
do it the right way. Do not ruin it for everybody else.
Yep.
So,
and don't ruin that person's mentality.
Right. Mm-hmm. JJ, forgive my memory because it's shit, as you know. You were not at the 2018 Survivor Series with Team NoDQ for the 20th anniversary special thing, right?
Nope.
Okay. So
I'm not going to gotten back into things by that point.
That's right. So I'm going to say a scenario. If the person is watching, they will know who they are. So I'm sorry in advance. I will not say the name out loud because I'm not going to be that much of a prick. But they will know who they are. So toward the end of Survivor Series night, you know what? It may have been toward the end of War Games night. So Saturday night. Somebody in the group with us, like they're actually part of our No DQ group thing, the activity. We were across at the Marriott, and Road Dogg, Brian James, was walking through. Hand to God, somebody in, I'll even say my age bracket. How about that? Dashed. And I mean, he could have done the 40 and 2.5 in high school and got a freaking state medal to try to catch Brian at the elevator.
Oh, Jesus.
And I watched this happen, and I've known this person for a while at this point, and I'm like, why in the... And then so after the interaction was what it was, we were walking through the Marriott to go out the other side to go to the side patio, and Brian and I exchanged looks, and because I've known Brian long enough where he knows my face at this point, and I'm just like, and he goes, like, kind of is what it is, shrug. That kind of stuff bugs me enough seeing on social media. Seeing people in my group, I just go, oh, God.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Especially
it's
with
embarrassing.
As many people know that a group of my close family friends were in Vegas listening to Punk cut that scathing promo on people that do that shit.
Yeah. Oh.
And I watched it happen in front of me. And I'm like, we have learned nothing in 7 years. Not a goddamn thing.
All right.
The best
if anything, it's
when,
gotten worse.
The best part is when Punk cut that promo in Vegas, the four of us that were, or the three of us that were sitting together, because Mikey didn't have a ticket for that one.
No.
He was there, but he didn't have a ticket.
Right.
The three of us that were sitting together turned and looked in the general vicinity where we knew somebody was there that does that stuff.
Oh my God. And
because it was like, are you hearing this? He is talking to you.
We were shouting across the top like he could actually hear us across the freaking Thomas and Mack with 17,000 people. We're like, this is the man, because it was so like right at the guy.
Before we move on for this topic, I want to just touch on one thing that you mentioned. You talked about the disconnect going to AEW between you and the other fans. And I don't know. I don't know how often, Noah, James G, I don't know how often you guys go to shows. Me having stepped away from it as long as I did, it used to have like a fraternity vibe.
Yeah.
Like you had your family, your friends, the people you saw on a day-to-day basis. Then you saw your wrestling family whenever you would go to a show or to like City Walk or to Access or whatever. You'd always see the same people at whatever Indy Federation or WWE.
Yeah.
AEW wasn't a thing at the time, but whatever show you'd go to, you'd see that same little family. And it was like, oh, hey, man, how have you been? What you been doing since I saw you last?
Yeah, how's the kiddos?
Basically get like caught back up in the month, 2 months, 3 months since you had seen him last.
Yep.
And I just don't feel that. When I went to that show in Ontario, granted, I'd been out of wrestling for almost a decade at that point.
Right.
But I didn't recognize anybody there.
No.
I didn't get that vibe from people at the show, kick it back. Hey, let's chit chat. Who do you like? Who you don't like? Blah blah
Yeah.
blah.
Yep.
It was very kind of off-putting to me.
Yeah. Going to the Ontario Arena, I talked more with a fellow Kings fan, Christian, than I did with any other wrestling fan because of our Kings bond. Because the Kings minor league team plays there. Like I saw Christian at most of the shows. I've seen you at the shows now. I went to one show with our buddy Webmaster Wade and his family. But like, yeah, the AEW show was a revelation, dude. It was so weird. I hope to God the sheer amount of people at WrestleMania will not make me feel like that. Because that sucked. It really sucked.
See the difference between the two markets that the fans attract?
Maybe.
But I don't think so. I feel like
no,
things have just kind of degenerated.
Yeah.
You know, this is the same era. Isn't it Alexa Bliss had a stalker also?
Alexa's had one. Sony's had one recently. Paige actually put on Twitter that her stalker is back on Twitter, adding her on Twitter, but because it's Twitter, they can't really do anything except try to get the guy blocked. It's like,
yeah.
It's not as simple as BG talked about, getting a restraining order on somebody anymore because online restraining orders don't work. Yeah. They should, but they don't.
They don't
really, right?
It comes down to social media sucks. I don't think it has anything. It's not to do with because this is the problem in all forms of entertainment. It's not just wrestling. We're just in this bubble, but in reality, it's like this happens to all forms of entertainment because of social media. Social media has caused people to be degenerates, not only online, but in real life.
I was going to say,
that's the problem.
We have not learned a damn thing, James, from 25 years when the paparazzi craziness caused the death of Princess Diana.
Yep.
Not a damn thing. Not a damn thing in a quarter century. And that's and that's a global what the fuck, because that was to her.
Yep.
It was crazy. It was just awful. Yep. All right. Next topic. JJ, what would you like me to throw up there? I'm down for whatever.
I don't even remember what all the topics were, Jeff, so just go ahead and pick something.
All right. We'll go with this one. All right. So, this week, I don't really get Don Callis voice, but I'll try anyway. Kenny, by God, Omega, came out in the press talking to some gaming thing or another. And I'm not a gamer. I have no idea what the hell he was talking about, so forgive me on the source. I do apologize. The quote actually comes from Wrestle Talk's recap of the CEO Gaming channel, Twitch channel's chat with Kenny, basically saying, Kenny said, and I quote, "That is why I was Kenny Omega says wrestling has evolved to become less about stories." And Kenny said, "That is why I was confident in doing everything throughout the Hangman story. That was a story about human lives. I feel as wrestling has progressed, it's become less about those a lot. If we just become physical vessels that are supposed to throw each other at the wall until everyone goes kersplat and don't get up again, that's the kind of wrestling I can't do anymore. And when I have to know it's time to pack it in. We're going there already, and there are people trying to convince you that those are the best matches and 5-star matches. We have to be careful." So,
wow.
There's a big, giant onion to peel here. All right. Like, Christ almighty, Kenny. I love you, boy, but damn. All right. Kenny, not on purpose, I'm sure, is coming off like a hypocrite. Okay, because he is a victim of what the hell he just said. Because he became about collecting the belts. That became about making Meltzer pop his goddamn wad every time he stepped into the ring. Mm-hmm. All right, that is what Kenny Omega became. The minute Hino Kata got that first more than 5 stars, Kenny went cuckoo in the groin and in the brain. But now he's out till who knows when because of wrestling that style.
He even said himself, probably forever.
Yeah.
Like he's thinking if he literally, you forgot one other quote in that. He said,
well, I just went with what I had. So.
If I suffer one more second, this is from Kenny's own lips, by the way. If I suffer one more setback, I don't think I could do this anymore. I might be done permanently.
No. And is that
That's
not just
what he said?
Right. And for me, that is one of those. I have yet to see Kenny Omega wrestle in person since he became Kenny. By God, Omega. I watched him win the 2009 PWG Battle of Los Angeles for the vacant PWG championship. And I saw it in him then, and that was 13 years ago. No, yeah, almost 13 years ago now, because it was toward the end of 2009. And for somebody that had that unbelievable potential, go through the WWE developmental hell, escape from it like a freaking refugee out of the cesspool, and become who he's become, but become a victim of what he felt he had to become, is tragic.
Yeah.
Noah, we heard from James actually say the quote, but I want to ask you, where do you stand on Kenny Omega? And I mean, it's pretty much a good sense that he's right in what he says, but, you know, is there not accountability on his end for him proliferating and popularizing that style amongst the boys and amongst the fans watching it?
It's one of those things where, yeah, you figure about you probably were the one that brought this type of style to the dance, but now you have a sudden realization when you consider how your body and your mind is going nowadays to the point you may never wrestle again. You figure about this whole belt collector mentality. The likes of Macardona, who's injured. Taya Valkyrie's currently got multiple belts. Kylan King, she's making a brand name for herself with multiple belts. FTR's got 3 set of tag team championships, and Dax Harwood's on the brink of being injured for the long haul if he's not careful. It is one of those mentalities that, again, you figure about what you started, you see the domino effect, but now you look at yourself and you can't do it anymore, and you kind of suddenly realize, okay, maybe I was wrong in this mindset. So honestly, it just feels like it's a realization, but it just might be, you know, too little too late, because now it's becoming more so what everybody goes after, because it seems now that's the way you go forward to get over in this industry. So I do think there's definitely a sense of accountability, and with Kenny Omega saying this statement, I hope there's a lot more of that in it versus just more self-professed bolstering.
Yeah. Big G, Noah will back me up on this. What was the first time I ever asked for a New Japan login, Noah? Remember?
Yeah, it was Wrestle Kingdom.
Omega against who?
Omega against Chris Jericho.
And why? And because I wanted to see what Kenny Omega had become after all this time of me not seeing him. And he wowed the bejesus out of me. He did.
A lot of bejesus out of everybody, but then again, he set a standard, and that was after I faced Kazuchika Okada to the point.
I was going to say this after the Okada stuff for the most part. He had like one more match with Okada after that, and I'm like, I need this in my life. I actually had my own subscription for a year because it was I need this in my life. This is the thing.
I saw Kenny Omega wrestle Sami Callihan live last year at Summerversary in a death match.
Okay, I'm glad you brought the D word up. I'm so glad you brought that up. Kenny's style, and G, I'm going to throw it to you down here. That's Kenny's style and what has become of his body, combined with the all of a sudden death matches are in again. Yeah. Like, I remember when death matches were getting like, oh, we can't do these anymore because freaking New Jack is so this and Nick Gage is so this, and that was not that long ago. And now it's like we have women having death matches and being proud of it. And I'm not shitting on people like Mariah or people that I, like Britt Baker or whatever, but it's like, I guess I'm just becoming an old fuddy-duddy in my near as I near closer and closer to 40. But I have no desire. Huh? What happened?
Hey, some of us is past that.
Okay, but I think you and I can relate on this as well, Jay. I have zero desire to turn on a wrestling program on my TV and especially go live. I've cleaned up after 2 nights of death matches. I'm good.
Yeah, Kenny Omega and Sami Callihan felt like a death match, and it was for the Impact World Championship because, well, Sami Callihan, he's bloody insane.
Because Sami's nuts, yeah.
There are some wrestlers that have made that a standard. I mean, just against all odds this past Friday night, Clockwork Orange House of Fun match.
Yeah. Like, I don't mind that being a once in a while. If you're going to get Raven, you might as well. If you're going to have Clockwork, you might as well bring Raven in and just go balls out, right?
Right.
But that's different from, like, everybody, at least a few people on every roster now seems like it has to have some sort of match where there's some sort of unnecessary Bloodletting, great example. Dad and I sat down Wednesday and watched Dynamite for the first time together in months because I was at their house. I was home.
Right.
And half of the conversation during the match, the main event match, was that's just unnecessary. You can't tell me, even during War Games or Blood and Guts. Sorry, Vince. My bad. Bot. Sorry, Vince. I didn't mean to say War Games, even though it is War Games. I didn't mean to say War Games out loud. During Blood and Guts, freaking what the hell's the name?
Oh, Moxley with the fork.
It wasn't a fork. What's the term for the food?
The skewers.
Oh, skewers.
Skewers, but
skewer the man in the head.
Yeah, what's the name of the food when you stack it on the skewers and you eat it off the
kebab?
Yeah, there is no need to have a freaking shish kebab fork in somebody's temple. That's goddamn ridiculous. It was rather ridiculous in '98. It's still as ridiculous in 2022. Okay, and this is my dad's favorite guy because they're both Cincinnati boys, and it's just like, oh, it hurts my brain. Like watching all the head trauma, my brain just going, can we turn the TV off now? It hurts because it's just like no.
Realization.
Oh.
I feel Kenny Omega with the fact now that he's seen what he's done and can't do it anymore. And honestly, it was a period where Kenny Omega wasn't this. He was taking it easy a little bit in AEW, and then he went from 0 to 100, and you see what happened that year and a half. Yes, he raised the game in the industry, but at what cost?
Yeah, I mean, Emmanuel's got a great, didn't need to happen. AEW was doing fine with Kenny. They didn't need to book him when win championships across the world and run him into the ground. That's a major part of this. It wasn't just the style he worked. It was the amount of dates he worked that style.
Exactly.
You can't do that kind of shit on the regular. And he was.
Your mentality versus your physical capabilities. I can't say it enough. Dr. Baker DMD put out a solo tweet about respect the work that goes into what we do in the ring, but realize that we have to be conscious enough with what we do too. And this shortly came out after Adam Cole and his performance in that 4-way in the Forbidden Door. Again, every one of these men and women are out there for our attention, for our investment, for our interest, for the love of professional wrestling. In some way, art, or form. A lot of them also have that same love themselves, not just necessarily in it for the money and for the adulation. But at the end of the day, injuries is a very real thing, and some of these injuries are life-changing to the point you may never do this again.
JJ, please.
The comment that Emmanuel put up about booking Omega to win every title, I feel is kind of a double-edged sword.
Right.
And I say that because you've got to figure AEW is still in its infancy.
Yes,
they're not even a 5-year-old company.
Yep.
So to have their world champion go out and get all these other world championships
with a lot of history and lineage too. Yeah,
exactly. Just helps to bring more eyes to their own product, and I'm sure that's why they did it. Were any of the champions prior to Omega, with the exception of maybe Chris Jericho, going to be a big enough name to draw those kind of eyes to this brand new product? And that's why Jericho was the first.
Yep.
But he's not the one that had the Ultimo Dragon success with freaking 27 belts on his arms.
Right. And
that was Kenny by God Omega because he still had the youth on his side to be able to go out there and do what Jericho was capable of, but probably just couldn't do as much anymore at his age.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm glad you mentioned the Dragon. He was the J Crown champion and the WCW Cruiserweight champion at the same time, but he wasn't working 5 or 6 nights a week in different companies. Yeah. He would come to WCW, do Nitro. When he was champion, there was no Thunder, but he would do a house show or two, and then he would do a tour Japan for a couple of weeks and do the thing in Japan and then come back. But he wasn't every night, twice or whatever, like Kenny was doing. And it's like people don't remember how long Kenny's been doing this. Like I said, I watched him become a PWG World Champion in 2009. My son was a year old and Dylan's now 14 and a half. So that was almost 14 years ago when I saw him win his first major singles championship, and he's just sorry, but we don't get younger. We don't have the freaking Ra's al Ghul Lazarus pit out in the back. We just don't have that. I wish, God, that'd be awesome if we could do that in wrestling. Good Lord. Don't have to worry about hiring anybody else. But again, James,
hold on. We haven't gotten to G, I don't think, the whole time. Did we?
No, I was going to go to him last, but I'll go to him next. That's fine. So G, again, we've all been watching long enough where we've seen the style of wrestling evolve. And, you talk about the higher risk and everything. Look at Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels put his body through so much, and it was legitimately a simple, seemingly harmless backdrop. But when you slow it down frame by frame, he's hitting his freaking discs into the corner of that casket, which didn't need to be a thing.
Right.
And that was 1998 that happened. Yeah. And we're having this conversation about Kenny Omega doing unnecessary risks now.
Right.
Is it more of I'm so passionate and I want to have the best thing out there on the card, or is it also I need to make as much money as I can while I can, so I don't have to worry about taking care of my family later? Because when you have that mindset, at least from my point of view, if you try to make all the money by doing the things Kenny does, by doing the things Shawn did, your family's going to be financially taken care of for the rest of your life and their lives.
Right.
But you're going to be watching your kids play in your freaking, cripple chair in the corner of your living room. That's kind of sad.
Yeah.
It depends on the worker, though, too. Because, again, some of these workers, okay, do they have everything now? Do they want else to have family? So, also, not really a double-edged sword, but also it's one of those butterfly effects. Which way do they want to take their careers all the way to the end, too? Just saying. Go ahead, Big J.
Yeah.
So, I first saw Kenny Omega wrestle in AEW at Full Gear in Baltimore against Moxley in that Lights Out match. And that was... I love
rough. That was rough.
It was. I love my violence.
Right.
I love my violence. Anyways, I had not seen Kenny Omega wrestle before then.
Oh, okay.
I've heard of Omega and stuff like that.
Right.
In New Japan and stuff like that, but I never actually saw him wrestle.
Right.
Yes.
And then he finally won the AEW championship. And then he won the Impact title and then the AAA title. And like you said, that's a lot for one person.
Yeah.
The titles, they're props. But to them, they're like, okay, I'm representing these companies as the world champion. So I'm gonna do what I need to do to make them happy. And I also believe, a lot of these wrestlers, male and female, they are passionate about what they want to do. So they're going to go out there and do whatever they have to have the match of the night. So, like, say you have one match, they're going to say, okay, we're the main event. So we're going to have to outshine the match before us and after us.
Yep.
So... And Kenny's getting up there in age 2 now. I think he's probably his mid 30s, late 30s.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and you doing this for a long, long time. You said 2009, Jeff.
At least
for doing this a long, long time.
He'll be 40. He'll be 39 this year. He's my age.
39. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm still in my. I'm in my mid 30s.
But
I'm just 30.
It takes a toll on your body wrestling day in, day out. By God, Rick freaking Flair is gonna be wrestling.
I was gonna say,
by freaking God. I mean, the man is like, he saw Vince wrestle at WrestleMania. He's like, okay, if Vince can still do this, I can do this.
Okay, but Vince worked a freaking match with McAfee.
You know what I mean, though.
Yeah, I know.
It takes a toll on your body, and sometimes you have to switch up your style of wrestling.
You do.
That way you can continue to wrestle.
I would argue that's the key to Flair's longevity. He didn't, despite what books written by jaded people will tell you, he made sure he adjusted his style just enough where as he got into his 50s,
Right.
He wasn't, he wasn't going 60 with Steamboat anymore. It wasn't going to be a thing.
No.
So we had to do. And that's why, if the rumor is to be believed and Jay Lethal is going to be involved in this match with him, I am more reassured than I was when I first heard the announcement. Because we've all seen Jay Lethal work. Some of us have befriended Jay Lethal over the years. I trust Jay to take care of Ric Flair. I do. So anyway.
But yeah, hopefully Kenny Omega, I don't know.
I hope he comes back, James. I do. Yeah, I do. I hope he does. And the thing is, we've heard that he came back and then had to leave again because he couldn't be around it and not be in it.
Yeah.
That's the beast. That's the thing they talk about Undertaker's Last Ride documentary, chasing that dragon within you.
The dragon.
Yeah. We all heard that line and it was like, he's not wrong.
No.
And Kenny not being able to harness and utilize that dragon to the ability that he used to, mind fucked him and he had to go home again.
Well,
that's going to be tough.
I thought the reason was because he got injured while working backstage, and
that's what I'm saying. He couldn't even be backstage without getting more involved than he really needed to.
And that was the problem. Yeah.
And he botched himself. Yeah, it's like, oh God, Kenny. God damn it, Kenny. Oh my God, you heard Kenny, you idiot. Anyway, just
that's accurate,
right? So again, I'm glad Jay brought this up because it's so. And again, JJ and I in particular, you guys more so the last 2 years, have watched the Young Bucks grow into the old, still think they can go Bucks, and then watch them have matches. It's like, oh, wow. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we don't need that from y'all no more. We love you. No, stop. Yeah. Stop. Now, FTR, if Dax gets himself put back together Humpty Dumpty style, we talked about this last week on Mike Night. So there's this guy on social media, Twitter and Instagram, that does these amazing renderings of these. It's WTGFX or something like that. I forget the name. I'm sorry, Tony. Like they did a rendering of FTR posed with the belts they have right now, and like at like their knee level, like a stack of all the other belts. And I'm thinking the conversation JJ and I had we had with you guys last week on the show. How are they not in that talk already as being one of the greatest teams ever? They've literally done every freaking thing you can do on the big stages in this wrestling world we currently live in. Yep. IWGP, Ring of Honor, AEW, WWE, and NXT. Bing, 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 bing. And Impact is on the horizon, I have a feeling.
Oh, sure.
Like, how do you not put them in that talk with Axe and Smash, with Hawk and Animal, with Bubba and Devon, Edge and Christian, the Hardys? And the thing is, Edge and Christian and the Hardys, with all due respect to those two teams, and the Dudleys also, they held the WCW tag titles, these WWE tag titles, but they were WWE owned.
Yep.
The Road Warriors bounced around. Demolition held on to the World Tag Titles of WWF at a time where only Hogan got to touch that kind of longevity with a title before Demolition, and then Honky, of course, won his title that year. It's like nobody did those kind of numbers but Hulk.
Yep.
And for FTR to be in that category of not necessarily long reigns, but the sheer quantity of their belt case, even Conrad Thompson's going, hey, nobody asking me, and nobody has more belts than Conrad Thompson. So nobody. I seen it. So yeah, FTR's got to be in that talk. Anyway, let's see. There's a comment here. It says, "Can I confirm FTR? We confirm FTR if they are okay." So Dax is banged up like a muckerfucker after the match at Forbidden Door, but they did work Dynamite. I believe they work Rampage as well. So it's a matter of just easing into it and not botching the buckshot at a pay-per-view and then trying it again on Wednesday and really botching yourself up, CM Punk, to the point where you have to go take time off.
Yep.
Just a matter of just slow down. And it's not like it's very much the same way as how they were trying to do it. Punk's flair, they're Arn and Tully. Arn and Tully could slow a match down and work a body part for 20 minutes, not to worry about doing a damn thing of their damn selves.
Yep.
So
hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully, yeah, great, yeah. All right, let's see.
It ain't ballet anymore for sure.
Well, we'll go ahead. I'll grab onto that one. I appreciate you saying that, James. I have come to think of that term as just my brain just, and I'll tell you why. My son went to go take ballet for like balance and coordination stuff. And ballet dancers, they are no joke. Those guys and gals, I'd rather wrestle. I really would.
Yeah, actually.
I can't imagine the kind of strength in your toes and in your hand-eye coordination. Yeah, nope.
Yeah, no.
Nope, I'm good. All right, JJ, I'm going to need your massive back on this one because you have the actual numbers behind the tombstone you sent me, so you'll have to help me out here a little bit if you can.
I didn't go yet.
On this, are you sure?
Yeah, James didn't go.
I didn't go like full on. I just kind of interjected.
Carry on.
Yes, sir. Moments. My thoughts are as follows, really, with this Kenny Omega stuff. Like, I feel like Kenny is saying this now because he's so banged up to the point where he's had setback after setback.
Right.
If he found a way to work less dates while being those multi-time champions, then I don't think we'd be having this conversation. But the bottom line is he was always overworking himself. That was the issue. He needed when he had that many titles, he needed to lessen his schedule to that point, and he was the draw,
Yep.
He shouldn't have been working himself like he was an undercard or a workhorse type wrestler. At that point, he already made it to the top. He's the attraction. He should it's literally goes back to what we said last week about all the world champions should be treated this way. Every month, no more, no less. It never should be any more than a month. It should be TV specials, pay-per-views. That's it.
Yep. Look at Roman.
Look at Roman now. And by the way, I don't even think they're doing Roman right because he should be defending it every month. The problem is they just don't have any more contenders because they refuse to build stars at least properly. Kenny Omega didn't have that problem. Kenny, especially in the three companies, maybe AAA. You can maybe make an argument for AAA. Still,
right?
You could have gone to each company every month and have a week. Have a week off every month.
Right.
He went there on like 2 days, 3 day stretches. Like there was at one point, I think during All Out of like what was it, 2020? He wrestled 3 or 4 times that week because he was the fucking champion. He went and defended the championship. He defended the championship. Actually, it might have been 2021. It was the barbed wire match.
Yeah.
It was the Moose match, and then he went to AAA and wrestled Andrade.
Yeah.
Like what the he? No wonder, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know what you were expecting. Like you guys have to lower the schedule. There's so much talent on this roster. You have enough to rotate out for at least 2 weeks, if not 3, every single week. You have to do better to protect the top guys.
If they just stuck to wrestling lore and actually said, okay, your top champion or any champion has to defend once every 30 days.
Right.
If Kenny's got 3 titles, that's essentially once every 10 days.
Right.
Roughly,
yes.
There's no reason he can't get plenty of rest in 9 days.
Yeah.
And that's not all. I mean, at the very least, if you're talking television champion, that's still only like every 2 weeks.
Yeah. Okay.
It shouldn't be every week.
Yeah. Well, no. Well, no. Because in theory, if you're pre-taping one of your shows, you're good.
Yeah.
JJ, go ahead.
No, go ahead and finish this. I was going to say something unrelated before it pertains to the next topic.
I think. Oh, okay.
I'll just finish it with this. It goes back to what we said last night. You guys, we want to see everybody do well. We don't want to see this many injuries. If that means you have to slow down your style, then so be it. I'm fine with it.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
don't need to go this freaking hard. Just slow it down. Slow it way down. You know, like that's what we have to do. If that means we get more longevity, then so be it. Because I'll tell you right now, man, 36 injuries is way too many in this freaking industry.
Yeah,
way too crazy. Damn many. There wasn't even that many in 2011. There wasn't that many during WrestleMania 32, which was littered with them.
Oh yeah,
36 is unacceptable, and we need to change that.
We do.
Period.
You are correct.
Especially when you consider what 13 of those are like top guys.
Yeah.
Enough.
Yeah.
Yes, G. You were.
I was gonna say we can't do anything physically. They
right. Yeah. That's it.
Exactly.
That's it.
That's basically what I mean. Yeah, they have to. The wrestlers and the promoters.
Exactly. JJ, you want to say something before we go on to the next topic, or
I just sent it to you in DM.
Oh, okay. I if you want to say something about something before the next topic. Okay, just want to make sure we were clear on that. All right. So since Monday, and of course, I actually brought my John Cena over here, and I was going to wear it during this part of the show, and now I can't find the damn thing because we came over here in a hurry today. So I'm just going to say it like it is, but I do want to say, since I have the hat on, Paradise Kitty had their show. It's now 10:04 in the morning over in India. So, girls, congratulations on a tremendous tour of India, getting the message spread over there to let the women do the talking and rock and roll. I love you, Rods. I can't wait to see you in a couple weeks. Mwah. All right. Anyway, did John Cena's milestone open a true forbidden door is the question of the moment. And the reason I say that, gents, is because on Monday night, during the course of John Cena's celebration of 20 years, which again watches our spines curve and our hair graze, we had no less than 3 people from current AEW contracts appear during Raw. Yes, they were pre-tapes. Yes, it was a thing. But we saw, as labeled on WWE television, The Big Show, Chris Jericho, and Daniel Bryan appear during some sort of pre-tape message for John. Much akin to seeing WWE Superstar AJ Styles appear at Slammiversary the week before. Is this forbidden door creaking open even that much more now? JJ brought the great topic up to me. This is one of the first things he brought to me this week after the Bianca fan bullshit people. So I tend to believe that the combination of AJ appearing at Slammiversary via tape, the combination of, yes, Joe's in AEW Ring of Honor, but he still did not appear because of whatever was going on with it. But there were a lot of people that appeared via tape. Dixie was there live, for Christ's sake. So the wrestling world is definitely maybe not changing or evolving completely, but it's definitely going in a direction that I didn't think was going to be possible in my lifetime. And the fact of the matter is, boys and girls at home, and you guys here in the studio with me, I never, in my almost 30 years of fandom and over 30 years of fandom and almost 20 years of doing this, I never thought I would hear the words come out of my mouth that Vince McMahon has stepped down as CEO of WWE. And we've heard that phrase now. And we now have had, in the last 2 weeks, a WWE contracted wrestler again appear, even via satellite, at a WWE at an Impact show. Their big show, by the way. They're one of their main shows. And then, as we heard about 45 times on Monday, the greatest of all time celebrates his anniversary with the company. And 3, granted, Paul White's not wrestling for AEW right now. Cool. He's still a big name. He signed one of the biggest and most longevity-wise, one of the biggest contracts in the history of professional wrestling.
Again.
But Paul White, Chris Jericho, and Bryan Danielson all appear during segments of that show. I think those, combined with the combination of Vince no longer being at the head of the proverbial business table, it seems to me we're going to have that door just ever so slightly as we head into the next fiscal year. James, am I right or wrong?
From the what we see on the surface, yes, you're right. However, and I do have to bring this up.
Yes.
Because it is a fact.
Oh yeah.
While we hear that he stepped down as CEO, we also heard that he's still head of creative.
Right.
Which is basically corporate for saying Vince still runs everything, but he just has Triple H and Stephanie as his surrogates until the investigation's over. I mean, that's what that means to me.
Well, the way I interpret it is they're actually running the day-to-day of the office, whereas Vince is still making sure he dictates what we see between 8 and 11, between 8 and 10, between 8 and 10 during the week.
Which, again, maybe so. But if Vince is this much of a control, keep in mind, he was also running WWE's day-to-day operations even under other people during the steroid trial. He was there were times where he was telling him what to do even then. So
right, but if you
buy that. I can't buy that. That's just me, but
if you go back and listen to podcasts from people that were there at the time, they had a fucking place just in case it went south.
Yeah.
Even in title alone, the act of him naming Linda as the president at the time was whoa to the public.
Right.
Inside, nothing changed. Not a damn thing changed.
Exactly.
But public perception is a mucker feather. And like I said a couple weeks ago, we were talking about Vince's thing originally. If you put anybody in that big chair, if you're this committee that's investigating Vince, you need to put somebody in charge while Vince is under fire. If you put anybody without a McMahon at the end of their name in that chair, stocks plummet, the business goes to shit. So I see what you're saying, but even if he is still in charge, and we're going to talk about the signings this week on the next topic. So we're going to bleed into the next topic through this topic, but the fact that the public faces of the running of the business, be it creative, be it the office itself, are, for the moment, Paul Levesque and Stephanie McMahon. I think that if they have any sort of earwig into the old man, that they're going to be like, hey, that looked really good Monday to have those guys here. Hey, that looked really good to have AJ appear on Slammiversary. We have to do that shit, but we did it anyway, and it made us look decent. So I want to believe that we're going to get some sort of, maybe not a freaking super card like, AWA and NWA tried back in the 80s, but at least some sort of continuing peace and maybe collaboration.
I mean, look, as much as I want, I'm probably the pessimist of this whole topic, honestly. I'll be fair in saying that.
Well, until
Vince McMahon is fully gone from the WWE in all facets because of the bull crap he pulled with the secretary or whatever the hell.
Right.
Nothing will change.
Okay.
That's how I see it.
Fair enough.
It's the whole mentality of that needs to happen before anything can move forward. Because, here's the other part of this that we're not even talking about. Do we need to remind ourselves of how stressed out Tony Khan was during the press conference during working with New Japan?
No.
And all the crap they went with there?
No.
Holy crap. I've never seen the dude as stressed as he was with this.
Yeah.
And put this in perspective, as much as I hate to be this guy, and I hope I'm wrong, please let me be wrong, but if Tony Khan was like that there's a good chance that this event might be on hold for 2 more years. It might not be yearly because it stressed Tony Khan out that much. If that stresses him out, what the hell is working with Vince going to be like? If he's still running the company and he goes away scot-free like he does every single time.
Right.
Like, how is Tony Khan going to feel like with that? I'm serious when I ask that. Like, we have to seriously consider that. I'm not even saying that because I hate Vince. It's not just because of that. Even though contrary to popular belief, they probably would say that. It's not about that. To me, what is realistic here? The realistic way for the Forbidden Door to be fully open to the entire wrestling industry and for it to be a true territory system like it was back in the 60s and 70s is Vince needs to be gone, step down, or whatever.
Right.
That's the only way it happens. Until that announcement is made, that it is a permanent leave of absence, nothing's changing.
Fair point. So JJ, let's say that day comes. Let's say either these allegations derail the old man, or he voluntarily steps away so the company doesn't get further dragged into the muck. Are these moments, even on video, even cameo style, as Emmanuel talked about in the chat there, you wouldn't have seen even that at the start of this little war that AW is claiming is happening right now. So things have already softened exponentially faster than it did between WWE and WCW.
Well, yeah, when it comes to WWE, WCW, there was no softening that was going to be had. WCW was out for blood.
Right.
And I don't think that Tony was ever out for blood.
No.
Therein lies the difference.
True. Very true.
The other thing we have to remember is that there have been instances like this going back to, I want to say, what year did the Horsemen get inducted?
2012, when Flair came over from TNA.
Hold on.
Okay.
Let me make my point before you start. But
well, okay.
There have been instances like this going back even 10 years now when Vince was in charge.
True.
Like when the Horseman was inducted and we got Ric Flair coming over from TNA to appear at the Hall of Fame. And then in return, Christian went to Slammiversary that year.
Yes.
To make an appearance, and we had that little tit for tat thank you. When Ken Shamrock got inducted into the Impact Hall of Fame, The Rock, via satellite as he did a video praising him and speaking highly of him for getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. There was that. Both of those things happened under the Vince McMahon watch.
Very true.
And then we've got Mickie James this year at the Rumble. Hardcore Country, Knockout Women's title under Vince's watch.
Yes.
So I think we're slowly starting to chip away at him.
Right.
But I definitely think that if anything on a more grand scale is going to happen, then James is right. And Vince needs to be out of the picture completely, because it's something that Hunter or Stephanie would make happen over Vince. And especially if Paulie is back dabbling in creative at all. ECW worked with WWF all those years ago, both with the talent exchange, the little mini invasion, and that one Terry Funk retirement show.
Yep.
They had the two brands kind of bleeding over.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's definitely something that could be on the horizon, and I hope and pray that this is where it'll go down the road. I think that's what kind of got my juices going with our whole Forbidden Door fantasy booking.
Yep.
Was just seeing what has come since the term Forbidden Door came into play in AEW, and how we'd see guys jump over from Impact on the Dynamite and from Rampage to AAA and blah, blah, blah. We wanted to see this on a more grand scale.
Yes.
The only way to get it on a grand scale is to get WWE's involvement.
Yep.
I mean, how awesome would it be at this point in time to see the Usos versus FTR?
Yeah.
Or the
which we've
Usos
seen
versus
before,
the
but
Bucks.
yeah.
And Usos and the Briscoes, which we've never seen.
Yeah.
Yikes.
That was a match I booked in my 2-night version of the card.
You did.
And it's like, right. The thing to me is like, we said it on the Indy Force, my boys and I, like we literally said, like, as we're memeing on Vince, there was a point where we talked about Stephanie, and Nico's just straight up said, Stephanie, good luck, you know.
Yeah.
And I replied immediately with, yeah, stay a while, kick your shoes off, you know, put them up on the office desk. We kind of want you there. Make yourself at home, please. Please make yourself at home.
Yeah.
Like, God, it's to the point where everything you're saying is right, because if for no other reason, the wrestling world has become so jaded. The only way I feel like to unite everybody for once in this industry is to actually have this crossover happen. That only happens if Vince, who is the jaded of them all, is gone. You know?
What's funny is it may not be able to happen until the day, you know, Lord help us, Vince McMahon dies.
Right.
And it would be a super show, everybody coming together to pay honor to Vince.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, whether you like him, you don't like him, you know, his recent escapades or not, he changed the business.
Big G's technology disagrees with you for the second time. It's okay. Yeah, he's going in and out. He's having issues. They had massive storms in his area like last week. We lost him during the show last week, so it's all good. I wonder.
He commented on the chat. He said he's got to go in 10 minutes.
It's all good, brother. No worries. Yeah, no. He says I'm bouncing. It's 10-1. Noah, again, it's one of those. We don't want Vince to die. That's just a little extreme. Mm-hmm. But, well, most of us don't. But I really would like the business to evolve enough where we get these kind of matches that we wouldn't normally see. And, you know, we all talked about ad nauseum in 2001 when WCW went out of business and ECW went under, that we were going to get these dream matches. And we did. We just didn't get them in the moment we were having the dream. And by the time we got most of the matches, it turned into a damn nightmare. So, again, you don't want somebody to have to be forced out of their livelihood without clear, definitive, you know, charges or whatever being actively filed. And we'll talk about that in the main event today, by the way. But I know I don't right now. I probably could have before all this shit started. I know James would probably say he would never see this happening in the man's lifetime. JJ, again, you and I go back and forth on Vince all the time. I don't think Vince would ever get to a point in his head where he would actively step away for what's best for business and not own the fact that he is no longer best for business. Do you foresee that happening in your lifetime as a fan?
No, at the end of the day, Vince McMahon truly is about one thing at the end of the day, and that is business. Business. He will put business before family, before religion, before common sense in the accordance to a wrestling fan or his own workers' mentality. Vince is literally one word, business. And until Vince finds business to the point that he literally can't do it anymore,
right,
I don't ever see Vince McMahon stepping away from the industry. Even if he has stepped down in his own company, he will always have that stranglehold on the business. So as long as that comes into play, I don't see things getting bigger with WWE involved in this term we're calling the Forbidden Door. At the end of the day, it's a wrestling industry working more on collaboration versus competition. And until the business side of things is not the forefront of that, it's not going to change within the WWE.
Very true. All right. I have been asked to go to the next topic, so I will do that because JJ has numbers on this and I don't. For at the end of the day. So basically, ratings came out across television and streaming this last week. And it was brought up amongst several different platforms, but JJ made it pretty concise. I just picked a different font because I like the font that I used. So cable television, is it officially dead at this point? And JJ has my has the has the numbers to make the argument of why it could very well be.
Oh, I didn't have those exact numbers, but the bottom line is that when the numbers came out for Raw this past week with the John Cena celebration and everything, they did under 2 million.
Yep.
On the flip side, AEW did some of its best numbers in recent memory here with 1 million on Wednesday for Dynamite.
They finally got the million back. Okay, cool.
Now, however, here's the thing, as the other shirt says.
We'll get that shirt. You can buy that one too later.
But
not yet.
WWE couldn't even hit 2 million, honoring the face of the company for easily the last 15 years. Figure the 2-year climb to the top, 3-year climb to the top that he had in a couple years with the COVID era where he hasn't really been around.
Right.
But the 15-year run at the top couldn't get more than 2 million.
Right.
And again, we always talk about Nielsen ratings and how those aren't reliable anyways. But at this point, should these broadcasts just be moved to a streaming site? You know, would WWE's broadcasts of Raw, NXT, and SmackDown on the cock be better fare? You know, a lot of people don't even have cable television anymore. They would rather have streaming sites as opposed to paying for satellite or cable.
Yep.
You know, and then the flip side, like I said, Dynamite finally hit 1 million. But you notice, there was no Stanley Cup finals. There was no NBA finals. There was nothing outside of their demo to really compete with them on Wednesday.
Yep.
You know, yeah, they had the Blood and Guts special, which maybe that was part of the boost. The real key will be, what numbers do they do this Wednesday?
Yeah.
Do they drop again now that Blood and Guts is over? Or do they keep that million? Do they grow? But I think it's time that the WWE, AEW, Impact, Ring of Honor, and everybody out there that runs a professional wrestling company just come to the realization that cable television ain't it no more.
No.
You know, the reason why it said 1980 on the tombstone is because that's when cable TV really started to bubble and jump off.
Yes.
You know, you figure 81 was the launch of MTV. You know, and all those other channels that really started to spiral in the wake of the cable era.
Yep.
Right.
So it's had a good 40 plus year run.
Yep.
Maybe. Yeah.
It's time to stop relying on that. You figure more people watched Stranger Things on Netflix than tune in to regular television anymore.
Honestly, and again, if I've ever seen the numbers right, I'm pretty sure just that show alone did more than the entirety of wrestling combined this week.
I'll just add to your point, JJ, real quick. Remember
go
when?
Ahead. I was pretty much done with my point anyway. Either you or Noah, whoever wants to pick up the ball from here.
Well,
bless you.
Can run from this point.
This has been my topic on every show in the last 7 weeks.
Right.
When do you guys remember when I brought up Brian Quinn from Impractical Jokers when he was on Danhausen's show?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you remember the number that they ended up getting because they actually have all the information?
It was absurd. An absurd number. Yeah.
That they got.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
7.2 million people. The biggest rating they've ever had.
Right.
Guess what? That wasn't a Nielsen number. You know what that was? That was a total combined number of not only Nielsen, but of every streaming service platform that they are on.
Yep.
And about 3 million of those people, when you did the calculations and rough estimation, are domestic here.
Yeah.
So if that's the case here, I guarantee you it's the case for pro wrestling.
Right. When you when you figure the number that's been touted for so long as far as the quarter hour, and a number that has popped and endured was 8-1 for Rock This Is Your Life with Foley. And nobody's sniffed that in a quarter hour since.
No.
And the highest overall is still to this day the main event with Hogan and Andre back in '88. That's like a 15, like obscene number that like people now are like, I'd kill for a 1.5 on a fucking 15. So yeah, but an 8.1 quarter, we're never going to see that in wrestling again. We're just not, because I've said this a few times, JJ, over the years. I don't know if you guys really had this particular version of a talk about this. Nitro wasn't supposed to do what it did.
Mm-hmm.
WCW launched that show, and every freaking expert in the business, in television, everywhere said, you're going to split the audience. You're going to kill the industry.
And it grew.
And it fucking somehow did not. It actually grew and doubled rather than divided the business. It was one of those stranger things. It was a complete random phenomena.
I think to your point, though, Jeff, it can happen again, but the problem is Nielsen needs to get on. They need to get off their high horse with cable and actually incorporate their streaming services.
Well,
by the way, like they said they were going to do 5 years ago.
Well, right, but again, I'm not focusing on Nielsen's corporate approach or bullshit, whatever. All I'm talking about is the audience for wrestling itself. People are under the impression, based on Nielsen, so I will give them a little bit of shit, but the fact that the wrestling fans don't watch near as much anymore. The reason they don't watch Raw on the regular is because there's so effing much of it to watch that our brains have mild strokes at the end of the week. Because it's like, I watch Raw, and I NXT, and NBA, and I can't do this anymore. JJ.
Yeah.
Let me put this into perspective for you guys, okay? While James was talking, I opened a YouTube tag and I typed in WWE.
Okay.
Now, granted, we're not talking millions here. We're talking thousands.
Okay.
But just to put this into perspective,
Mm-hmm.
posted 1 hour ago, Liv Morgan celebrates after Money in the Bank cash-in.
Yep.
160,000 views.
Yeah.
As of an hour ago.
Yep.
Happy Corbin attacks Pat McAfee after Money in the Bank. Digital exclusive. 37,000 views. 42 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Full Money in the Bank preview from 14 hours ago. 145,000 views.
Yeah.
You know? John Cena returns to Raw highlights 5 days ago. 793,000 views. There's almost 1 million just in that one segment on YouTube.
Yep. Yeah.
This is where people are going for their coverage.
Yeah. It's not that they're not watching, they're just not watching on USA. The full show. They're not watching even the full 90 minutes on Hulu anymore. They're just not doing it.
Not put up there in a timely manner.
Looking at you, Disney Bundle. You messed up JJ's day, so kiss my ass and make it right for my people. Thank you.
I had full intention of watching SmackDown before I came into the studio here at noon Pacific, 3 o'clock Eastern to y'all.
Yes.
And I've been in this chair pretty much ever since.
Yes.
With the exception of some bathroom breaks.
Right.
But yeah, I had every intention to watch SmackDown prior to, so I was up to date on what happened.
Yes.
It wasn't on there. Last week's SmackDown was, yesterday's wasn't.
Yeah. Just to I'm going to go on just a mini microscopic rant here. I'm giving you cocksuckers $76 a month. Update your shit fast. Okay. Anyway, thank you very much. Okay, I feel better. $75.99 a month. Get your shit uploaded, damn it. Anyway.
Noah, your thoughts on this?
Yes,
topic?
please save us from my ranting.
I mean, literally, like I said, it comes down to how universally accessible everything in the wrestling industry is, or anything in entertainment is. Cable and satellite, they are dead forms of media anymore, and they're also outrageous, super expensive forms where you can literally find anything else a la carte. Why would I pay for something that gives me 300 channels of absolute nonsense versus 4 channels that I actually care about on the guide versus a subscription service that give me the standalone content for just what I watch for a fraction of the price monthly, and I can come back to it if I don't want to pay for it, etc. It's all about, in and out, and the fact that we are so universally accessible to everything in entertainment across so many different platforms, whether it's a 90-second clip on social media or some sort of clip on YouTube or some sort of clip even on the website for that company, NBC, ABC, USA, you name it. Cable and satellite are out of date formats that just do not draw the public attention anymore because we don't have that sort of time, that sort of span, or we don't care to spend that sort of wallet. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, my family's been a streaming-based household since probably 2010, and the only streaming service that I literally use is Sling, $35 a month. My mom, she uses Netflix, my Sling service, and Paramount. And that's it. And between what she uses $30 a month. While back in the 90s, Buckeye used to run us close to $100, and DirecTV, they were $125, and it wasn't worth it because what are you actually getting out of those 300 channels? 5 channels of worthwhileness and literally 95 channels of what the heck is this shit? So
You factor in the $40 a month for the pay-per-views.
Yep.
Yeah, and I remember buying WrestleMania one time on pay-per-view, and it was $60. Now you can watch it on the cock for $10.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Cable and satellite are dead.
Nothing beats the use of the cock. That's right. No, anyway, carry on. Go ahead.
Cable and satellite are dead, and those that still believe in those numbers and use those numbers for their own popularity and their own speculation towards why should I keep watching this are foolish. Because at the end of the day, there are so many different ways that someone could just click a video to just try and give it an extra view and not even watch the whole thing.
Yep.
Can JJ, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna just say, so we were talking about YouTube numbers earlier.
Right.
Since I have the benefit of dual screen, I did a little project while you guys were talking. I searched up both just these two companies, WWE and AEW.
Mm-hmm.
The numbers that I'm actually seeing myself are freaking staggering. All right, now the hours of these are a little bit screwy, but bear with me here. So I'm gonna go by 3 videos alone. All right.
Okay.
Full match for Roman Reigns and Jinder Mahal at an Old Money in the Bank did 82,000 views. A segment on Rampage for Thunder Rosa and Tony Storm did 90,000 views.
Right.
The Roman and Jinder match was 10 hours ago, uploaded to YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
The Thunderstorm Tony Storm, the Thunder Rosa Tony Storm
match
segment.
14
hours ago.
Right.
That's not that long of a difference. Here's another one. This is the only one where WWE actually beat them. Top 10 Friday Night SmackDown moments, because a lot of people like to reminisce about the old times, myself included. I was a SmackDown kid.
Right.
273,000 views, where the Young Bucks versus Hiroti Goto segment on Rampage did 139,000 views.
Right.
The one following that, which is a freaking ridiculously staggering number here, which I did not expect this number for this type of match. Becky Lynch's segment only did 27,000 views on YouTube 10 hours ago.
Wow.
1 day ago, who will win the first ever Royal Rampage and earn their shot at the AEW World Title? 650,000 views and counting.
That's gonna make Brody King's day right there.
Dude, I mean, if you're just going by YouTube numbers, right?
Right.
This has proved my point that AEW is on the upswing where WWE is not really. And they post a lot more content as well. So
I was gonna say they post a lot more of a lot more of their content and a lot more of the quantity of their content, as far as they post a lot of stuff there. Once it's gone on TNT TBS and they wait a little bit, they post damn near everything. Just make sure people see it. So it's good on them they do that.
Right.
All right. So JJ. Go ahead.
No, I was just.
He's on mute and he's on mute having a conversation. And he just didn't want to have he's.
Gotcha. Okay.
So this week, of course, it was announced over social media, mainly Twitter. I saw it, but WWE I originally put a polarizing personality sign with WWE, and then I thought, now wait a minute, because some people may or may not like, oh, wait, we weren't talking about her because they signed her and then they completely overshadowed it. That's right. This girl got the shaft on the press for her signing. And this chick is a badass fighter that will do wonderful things in this company. So I just had to be a dick for a minute and call the company out on their crap, because that was they totally railroaded every bit of positive. Oh, wow, that's cool. She's moving to WWE and whatever, because God forbid.
And there's plenty an IWC fan who wouldn't mind railroading her, but I digress.
Yeah, but God forbid we don't acknowledge the wonder, the glory that is Logan Paul signing with WWE. Now, I know people like Logan. I know people that don't like Logan. I don't like the fact that his press completely overshadowed. I believe her name is Valentina. I apologize for the name botch if I did that.
Valerie Loretta.
Valerie, thank you. Completely overshadowed Valerie's signing.
Yep.
Within a very minute amount of time. But having said that, I have been known on occasion to jump to the wrong conclusions when it comes to celebrities in wrestling. And chief among them at the moment has been Logan Paul, because he definitely seems to know that he is a polarizing figure. He seems to know how to properly get his point across in a character way. And I actually look forward to seeing what they do with him in the lead up to SummerSlam. I still very much think it's wrong if they announced both within, I think it was not even a full 24-hour period between the two announcements. Maybe not even half of that. So I think I still very much think that's wrong. But again, this is what we talked about earlier. Triple H and Stephanie with that giant logo behind them at the big desk, making it clear who's in charge publicly, because CEO Redacted's not in the chair anymore. But I mean, this is what they want us to see. We have a big name celebrity that's been with us before, and he's signing a full-time deal. No, I'll start with you this time. What do you think of Logan Paul officially becoming a WWE superstar?
Well, I guess this celebrity cameo had more to it than I thought. I guess he'll be more involved than Bad Bunny. There's potential there with him. If nothing else, he definitely can do a lot of shenanigans with The Miz, and it sounds like they're going to capitalize that on Monday Night Raw. That wouldn't surprise me if that's the marquee match for SummerSlam to come up between him and Logan Paul. We'll see what he brings. He definitely put in the work at WrestleMania, so I will give credit where credit is due. And we will see how far his popularity and exposure to the YouTube community particularly helps draw more attention, if so, to the WWE product too. Welcome to WWE. Good luck to you. But out of the two, I'm more excited for Valerie, because give me legitimate badasses in the ring, not YouTube celebrities.
Yes. And James, before we come to you for the last part of this topic, I'm just going to go ahead and just put a comment up and a picture with it. And in the words of the Beatles, just let it be.
Yeah.
Just gonna go ahead and do that real quick. And then we're gonna go move. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and go back to JJ now and talk about this. Yeah.
Yes, please.
That's probably a big down boy. Easy.
I look at women in wrestling for freaking wrestling. Damn it, Richard, you dick.
Whoa. We hit a nerve. We hit a nerve with Noah. Lordy. Okay.
Hey,
so
listen.
James,
I like
go ahead.
both.
Yes.
I like
yes.
both.
Yes.
So there you go. I like both the ability in the ring and the ability outside. No, that's neither here nor there, though.
Try to show more of the ability than actually the physical capability, and maybe I'll actually give a shit about your product.
Oh my god! Holy shit! Yo, Noah in the dark is crazy. He's roasted.
Noah,
I digress. Okay,
Noah, Noah.
Back on topic. Logan Paul, go.
Yeah. So, all right. Normally, if this was like 5 years ago, I would have been pissed.
Right.
I would have.
Yeah.
People got to remember that. And I know that many people are going to be like, they will never forgive him for the incident in Japan.
Right.
I want to put in perspective that my opinion has changed on that, and I am willing to forgive him for that mistake. If for no other reason than there is medical proof that he is not right in the head, shall we say, and he went out of his way to find a way to correct that sense with a medical professional.
Yep.
Right.
He did.
I respect that. I
respect that wholeheartedly because that's more than I could say for his brother.
We're gonna lose Noah again. We're gonna lose Noah again.
Hold on. I have to bring the brother up for a reason. There's a point I'm gonna make.
Okay.
So, you got Logan Paul. He's coming into the WWE, and again, I would still be pissed even if I did forgive Logan Paul 5 years ago. Right? If this were to happen, like if the timeline was all butt fucky and he decided to do the incident in 2010 instead of 2014 and he signed like 5 years prior, I'd still be pissed because I was hoping, because there were signs of hoping that the WWE was going to create stars no matter who they were. What we have seen now is that there's one company that is doing their damnedest to create stars. And you're seeing this company, even if they're trying to do it tonight, it's really hard because they've done so much ill will for like 5 years onward, maybe even more than that in some people's eyes. So if you're not going to be able to create a star, sign one. And the fact of the matter is, Logan Paul is a pay-per-view draw.
Oh yeah.
He is a mega event draw. This guy, and compared to his brother, his brother didn't even reach 1 million for his 2 Tyron Woodley fights.
Right.
Logan Paul in 3 boxing matches went from an amateur with KSI that did over 1 million buys, a professional fight with KSI that did over 1 million buys, and then went on to fight Floyd motherfucking Mayweather.
I was going to say.
Like this dude, and all of them did over 1 million, by the way. I think that goes without saying. His brother doesn't even hold a candle to what
Money Mayweather is called Money Mayweather for reasons, but yeah, Logan Paul is definitely a part of that too.
And Logan knows his role. He knows he's the heel no matter what. He knows he's going to be the guy that gets booed, and he knows that people are going to pay to see him get his ass kicked. For all the mistakes that he made, they want to see him fail, and he embraces that, he welcomes that, and he's willing to put that into his character, which is why I would which is the only reason why I'm looking forward to the guy. Not to mention the fact that he's actually so begrudgingly goddamn good. It's unbelievable. And like compared to the Miz, who a lot of people were comparing him to, from a in-ring wise and from a character wise, he had it all way sooner than the Miz ever did.
Right.
And I know you guys are friends with, Mikey Boy, but like you can't deny the truth there. Like we've seen it with our own eyes. This guy has the it factor, whatever it is. He's begrudgingly, as much as I hate to admit it.
In brief defense of Mike Mizanin, to be fair, Logan Paul's being brought in, having already got to the point he got, a lot of it because of the rub from Mike and from WWE.
That's fair.
Putting the polish over that ill will, whereas Miz came into the company fresh off MTV thinking his shit didn't stink and then had to go shit in the locker room because the boys told him it did.
And that's fair enough. That is fair enough.
He got rode like a show pony and not the good one that's, head of the fucking lead. He got rode like a show pony that's getting ready to take out back and shot. So, that's just one of those things. That's again, I'm not making excuses for the locker room being a dick or for Miz, being Miz when he's on
Right.
whatever. But yeah, it's the similar, but it's still very much apples and bananas.
Yeah,
JJ.
I was gonna add
okay.
one last thing.
Okay.
So, with everything being said, I'm looking forward to what Logan does now.
Yes.
Because at this point, give me something. And it kind of is a detriment in a way because, man, this is kind of what the E's become. Like, I have to hope that this guy that I never thought in a million years I would hope to see in the company is going to succeed and actually bring some eyeballs and maybe change the way the company runs or something.
Exactly.
If he does it, then so be it if it's for the greater good. But it's like, I doubt it because look at boxing. You know, not too long ago, you had Logan Paul, Jake Paul, KSI, all these YouTubers out of nowhere coming out of the woodwork and coming into boxing. You know why that happened? Because boxing refused to push anybody else. They always protected their fighters, and they never allowed for multiple champions in the same weight class to unify the belts.
Nope.
And that's what allowed YouTubers to come in and take over the sport.
Yep.
And now, and the only difference between WWE and the boxing scene is WWE is the only sole entity, you know, allegedly in sports entertainment that that means a damn, and they refuse to make stars because they're afraid because of you know Brock Lesnar and whatever excuse they want to throw at you.
Right.
So they're going to sign one that already made his name outside of the industry. They'll sign names like a Ronda Rousey. They'll sign names like a Logan Paul. You know, they'll sign names like, you know, that have big name value, like a Bad Bunny, you know, who's the highest selling T-shirt guy. Like that. That's what they're going to do now. That's what has allowed celebrities to come in and take over WWE. That's what it's allowed it to happen.
So,
those are my thoughts.
JJ, before you talk about this Logan Paul thing, because this is one of the topics you brought up to me. First of all, I love the word buttfuck he's caught on this network again. It just makes my day.
It's fucking hilarious.
For reasons I can't explain on air because I'll get in trouble. But then number two, JJ, I love you for saying that The Rock appears to face highlight as he do. You made my day saying shit like that about Dwayne, so thank you for that. Carry on, sir.
You know, when it comes to Logan Paul, I look at this a couple of different ways. Number one, I had originally heard that there were some grumblings that he was going to be facing Miz at SummerSlam anyway, even before they announced he had signed a contract.
Right.
And at that point, I was all set to get pissed off about it.
Oh, jeez.
Because here's another celebrity taking away a spot from an established talent.
Yes.
Now he signed a contract, and I can't get pissed at that.
Right?
You know,
damn it, I want to be mad about this, and I can't.
Yeah.
But you've got to admit, WWE has been very, very lucky in recent years with the celebrities that they have brought over for matches.
Oh, yes.
Going back to Stephen Amell from Arrow.
Yep.
You've got Bad Bunny. You've got Logan Paul now.
That
Even
McAfee.
Johnny Knoxville, as hilarious as that match was at WrestleMania, it was still a well put together match.
For every Jackass fan that was there, particularly.
On the women's side of things, Maria Menounos, when she's come over,
yes,
has
Love
done
Maria.
very well. You know, as James pointed out, McAfee. I don't really count him though because he's technically a contracted WWE superstar.
At this point, he is. You're absolutely correct. Yes.
But you got to figure they've been very lucky in recent years where the people they have brought over have been willing to put in the work and not just rest on their egos.
Right.
They haven't wanted to be Dennis Rodman. They've wanted to be more Karl Malone.
Yep. Good call. Good analogy.
Very fair.
Yep.
You know, this whole thing with The Miz is off-putting to me because you figure, like you said, Logan Paul works so great as a heel, but after taking the skull-crushing finale at WrestleMania,
He's a babyface now. Yep.
Exactly.
Unless he comes out on Raw and just buries The Miz on the microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
turning Miz face in the process,
Which
then Logan Paul's going to be the face in the situation. And that's not what you want. That's not going to be what
crowd's
drives
gonna boo him
money.
anyway.
Yeah.
The
That's not
crowd's
gonna be
gonna boo him.
That's what you think until he gets on the microphone.
Maybe, but I mean,
You've got to put things into perspective. I mean, how many years were we booing John Cena?
yeah.
Did you hear a single boo or a Cena sucks on Monday night?
Nope.
No. You know, it's one of those things where absence makes the heart grow fonder. And granted, Logan Paul wasn't gone that long from WWE, but the way he left and the way he's coming back in is going to make people pop.
Yep.
Look at Triple H coming back to the Garden after his quad tear. He was one of the dirtiest heels in the business. Came back at the Garden after that injury. They went freaking nuts for him because they had missed him.
They went nuts at the bumper before the commercial for him.
Yep.
And this was the guy that was so evil that he plotted to run over Austin, take him out of the company, and then Austin joined him anyway. That's how evil Triple H was 2001, kids. Let's not glaze over that shit for a single friggin' minute here.
Yeah. No. Rhonda, when she left, was getting booed out of the building. Comes back at the Rumble this past year. People love her.
Yep.
It's all a matter of how you go out, how you come back. Having been on the receiving end of that skull-crushing finale, they're going to pop for him coming back.
Maybe.
And if Triple H and Stephanie are smart, they're going to use this time that Vince is out of commission to build as many new stars as possible. That's why Theory got the briefcase tonight.
That's why Liv finally got her moment tonight.
Exactly. Right. I'd almost be willing to bet money that on Tuesday at the Bash, Cameron Grimes is going to get the strap and Braun will be up on Raw by the following week.
Yep. Which I still think is too soon, for the record. I do too, but it's a way to make new stars. Well, there's making and then there's elevating too soon. And I think with Braun, it's still going to not.
Yeah, you can't do it.
It'll backfire. It'll backfire.
And they're rushing with all these guys, by the way.
Well, again, we're run off. I totally talked over Jay, and I'm sorry, but it's just one of those. There are people within that 2.0 bubble that are ready.
Right.
Braun is still not strong enough, just as him, without a mouthpiece or without his dad there as his second or whatever, to just go up and handle shit. He's not for me. Anyway. But yeah, Tuesday could be good. And yeah, it could make the whole point of 2.0 is to create new stars. The whole point of having these people that are younger than the C Nation and the people under the Roman Empire to elevate these kids and actually, God, listen to me, kids, elevate these people and make us want to watch them do their thing.
Right. Well, here's a question. We talked about and we're not going to get into the weeds here now, but I want to bring this up because we're going to save this for next open mic night. If Logan, you talked about the Forbidden Door possibly opening to WWE. If Vince does go away and we say what he says, what if this is the catalyst for Logan Paul's partner in crime, KSI, to go to the other side and join AEW? Because keep in mind, Logan has somehow under a WWE contract kept his deal with Prime, kept his deal with being able to do YouTube videos.
Right.
Okay? So if he is still doing that, then that means he gets to still work with KSI. If KSI then goes to AEW, Does that cross over that door that we were talking about earlier?
Probably a different aspect, but I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like there's some sort of relevancy to that statement.
I would have to get, and again, I'm never going to because I don't work there, but I'd like to get a good look at Logan's fine print and shit, because I bet a lot of why they signed him is because he has those deals with Prime, with the other outlets, and they can cross promote. If his main partner in crime, whatever you want to call him, signs with the competition.
KSI, yeah.
I know his name. I was just saying, it's if a partner in one of those other outlets goes to AEW, then it'll go over like a fart in church in Titan Towers. Is my worry there?
Maybe, but I mean,
I hope I'm wrong. I do, but
I mean, who would really get into a big stink of it? Would it be Stephanie and Triple H, or would it really be Vince?
Well, it would definitely really be Vince, but the thing is,
Vince, because I think Stephanie and Triple H realized that the promotion would be good.
Yeah, but again, like we talked about for the last couple hours, is Vince really completely out of control? And until he is, we're not going to see that kind of thing where even if KSI and Logan are still partners, we're not going to see KSI and AEW and Logan as WWE Superstar on any sort of pay-per-view platform. It's not going to happen. It's just not. As long as Vince has that final stamp, it is not going to happen, period.
I agree.
So,
Noah, bring us home on this topic.
Kind of talked about again a little earlier.
Yeah,
it really comes down to the exposure and James adding that ring of a crossover type deal where you got KSI working for AEW, because I do believe, and this kind of bounces off to the previous time of the Forbidden Door. People like Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, I believe, do have more of an open mentality to the rest of the industry. Vince McMahon does not. And that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. Because as long as Vince's business is the number one forefront of everything in the WWE, there is no Forbidden Door with the WWE.
No.
Okay, I need to take a deep breath right now because the management's not happy. All right. So you three know, people watching at home know how long I've been doing this shit now. It'll be 20 years in a few months.
God bless you.
Appreciate that. In 2004, I started actually going actively to independent wrestling shows here in California. Southern California, excuse me. And I hit it off with most everybody. And there was one person I didn't, and he's been in the news this week. So I have been asked to go last on this.
Okay.
Noah and James, you guys get the first crack at this, and then JJ will bat third, and I will hit cleanup one way or the other. Damn it. Joey Ryan. Okay. And I made the joke in the caption so I wouldn't be so completely fucking screaming pissed off about this. Joey was in the news 2 years ago, of course, for the speaking out movement. He was caught under that bus and dragged for miles. Some would say rightfully so. Nothing's been proven. Whatever. I'm gonna let JJ say what he needs to say after you guys say what you need to say about this. As recently as 3 months ago, he was hired by Disneyland, which everybody in this room knows how much I love the happiest place on earth. But what happened was they hired Joseph Meehan and did a background check. But and again, I don't know how it went down because I wasn't involved in the process. I certainly didn't speak it out because I didn't know about it until after the fact. Somebody put the Mask of Mafia wise to Joseph Meehan's dealings as Joey Ryan in wrestling. He has now been removed from that position at the parks where he was doing, I believe the actual term for his cast member's position was Jungle Cruise attendant, custodian, whatever you want to call it. He was working at the Jungle Cruise ride at Disneyland here in Anaheim. And for him, and knowing how long I've known him and how much a part of Anaheim culture he loves, he's a big Angels fan like I am. He's been going to their games his whole life. He's a major fan. He and Jay and the boys have gone to Disney either with him the same day as him and met up, whatever. So This must have been super cool for him. But the social justice warriors are what they are on Twitter and the other outlets, and he's now lost the position within the company. With the company only, according to the Times, Mr. Meehan is no longer employed by our company. So I'm going to come to James first on this, because I know James will give me the hot take that I want to hear, so I don't have to say it out loud myself. Joey. Okay. This goes back to my bitch with the mouse at large, and I will never ever stop praising Disney, because I love the place, I love the company, and they've had a lot of bad shit go down this year.
Right.
How do you perform a background check on somebody and not perform a background check on somebody?
Yep.
That's the bottom line here.
Yep.
So is it Joey's fault at this point is what I'm trying to get at, and what I'm trying to direct the conversation to. Because for me, as much as I don't like Joey on a personal face-to-face, I'd flick him in the nose if I could get away with it on a daily basis situation. The company didn't have to not be thorough.
No.
And he got employed, was able to make a living outside of wrestling, which he never ever really wanted to do. He always wanted to be Joey Ryan. He didn't want to be Joseph Meehan punching numbers, doing stuff in the office. He wanted to be Joey Ryan. And now he can't even do that because the wrestling fandom has outed the Mouska Mafia for their lack of due diligence. And I think that's wrong on Disney's part.
Yep.
James? Between Joey's, again, being dragged under that bus, whether it happened or not with him, with the accusations, and here we are almost 3 years later, and once again, the wrestling fandom completely buries somebody who's not even in the business anymore.
Yeah. Well, there were reasons. Whether they were legit or not is, up to anybody's guess. But the bottom line is he was so, I'll be honest with you. When it comes to me, I never liked Joey Ryan. I thought him doing what he did and doing essentially the dick spot was going to get him in trouble eventually.
Right.
And that's on him.
Yes.
What did I say about Jeff on Indy Force? And on hopefully the article that can be posted on NoDQ.
What'd you say on here? Same thing. Yeah.
What I said on here.
Yep.
Jeff Hardy was lazy in the ring to the point where he refused to adapt his style, and now it's going to cost him. He's now facing up to 5 years in prison without the possibility of parole.
Yep.
Joey Ryan did the dick flip spot, and he did it with people, and he did it in front of people that he never probably should have done it to, a la kids, parents of the kids, whoever. It ended up costing him, which was the main complaint of anybody that had any reason to not like the gimmick in the first place ever.
Embraced it so that he got a sponsorship from YouPorn and called it the YouPorn Plex.
That's a problem.
That was actually a thing. I swear to God.
Yep.
Jesus.
So, look, man, I don't feel sorry for you. How am I supposed to feel sorry for a guy who put himself willingly in that situation? Right. You did that to yourself. You were lazy enough to the point where any type of attention was good attention. And by the way, contrary to what popular belief, not all attention is good attention, especially if you're one guy without freaking lawyers by your side. Okay?
Yes.
This guy had no reason to do what he did in any facet, period. I'm so glad I could say that, because the dick spot to this day and the whole gimmick of Joey Ryan is the dumbest I've ever seen in the entire history of this goddamn industry. Period. Bottom line. Never should have happened. Never should have gotten out of hand as it did.
Right.
But people enabled it. People kept it going. People found it funny. You want to talk about degeneracy in the wrestling industry? Exhibit A. Exhibit freaking A. They took to this guy like he was a fish in water, and in reality, he should have just been a fish in oil.
He is now.
He is now.
They're flying him up on the pan now.
How long did it take? How long did it take for everybody to finally give the criticisms that should have been given ages ago? This gimmick never should have happened. Ever. It was disgusting then. It was disgusting when they claimed it was disgusting, and it's disgusting now. When Joey Ryan first showed up on TNA and had that whole bit on Gut Check with Al Snow, guess what? That was the most over he's ever been, in my eyes. Because it was him being a legitimate wrestler, and it wasn't him being some comedy.
Just wait, JJ. I know. Just wait, JJ.
And listen. I have no problem with comedy in wrestling.
Right.
But you need to do due diligence in how you approach it. He just went balls to the wall to the point where he disregarded every bit of intelligence to go about it, and it cost him big, to the point where so many people outed him for being a creep that he was gone.
Yep.
And if what he's saying is true, and he was living this rock star lifestyle because of that,
right?
And then he realizes how dumb that was, and he wishes he could take it all back and do it a different way.
Right.
Too late now, dude. Too late now.
So,
period.
Let me get back to the question.
Else to say.
Well, let me ask you a question. I was going to look for the answer for.
Go ahead.
Is this?
Oh, it's Disney? Yeah, that's Disney's fault.
Okay.
Like, that's just really poor background checking. It really is. Although, in fairness, in the interest of fairness, a lot of people didn't know Joey Ryan's name. So I don't know, and I don't know how Wikipedia works, and if you type in the guy's real name, if it pops up on Wikipedia or whatever.
His does.
So, So, yeah, Disney was just lazy about it. That's all it is. I mean, this is on them. It's not on Joey Ryan this time, but it is on Disney, and they need to never pull that crap again, especially when you got a bunch of kids roaming around that park.
Especially when you have a CEO of your company earlier in the year talking about siding them with the guys trying to ban the word gay in the parks. Whoops, was that all right? I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, I'll take it away quickly before I bury myself on the air again.
Disney is controversial, and they own over half of the world, it seems, when it comes to the media and entertainment industry. God help us all.
Somebody's here besides me and Jay. I'm so happy.
Joey Ryan already was in deep water, and he tried to basically find a new beginning. But unfortunately, due to Disney's incompetency and the control driven by the internet wrestling community, that was not meant to be. I'm not exactly sure what Joey Ryan's future will involve, if anything. And can he find peace for himself also? But as far as this, Disney, you fucked up. But it's not the first time, and it won't be the last.
It's not the first time this year.
Yep.
That makes it even
scary
worse.
in of itself.
Yeah.
God help us.
This is like, again, this is nowhere near as bad as the head of the company, siding in with banning the word gay. That's next level. What the fuck? Yeah. But still, even this little bitty thing with a wrestler who made famous for doing a dick spot gets employed, around the kiddos with the regulator, and there's no background check. That's a problem. All right.
Yeah, that's a problem. Again.
Yes.
And now we leave it to you two gentlemen to close out the night because I have nothing else to say.
Yeah.
JJ. Okay. Let me preface the world who's now and watching on demand later about this, okay? We've known Joey. JJ's known Joey since his first days at PWG. This is 2005. I've known Joey since the year
before. I'd say 2004 when I first went to UPW.
Okay,
I got to know him better when I went to Gorilla.
So we've both known him for at least 18 years at this point, right now. So, but he and I have very different views on Joey. So that's why he wanted me to go last, so I could hear everybody else's point of view and make a better closing argument, shall we say. JJ?
Bottom line is this, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to Joseph Ryan, Joseph Meacham. James, you made the comment about the gut check and that being the most over that he had ever been. I argue you on that one. And I know Jeff will co-sign with me on that because you're not a SoCal local like him. It was how over he was in SoCal that got him to the gut check in the first place. This guy went from being part of a stable in the X Foundation to being a solo, the technical wizard Joey Ryan, to being the guy who gives mustache rides, being a Magnum PI knockoff with a Joey Knows Best instead of Hogan Knows Best shirt.
And his finisher was called the Duff Drop to tribute Hillary Duff. That's how far back the creepo factor goes in the gimmick. But anyway, carry on.
To forming his own stable called the Dynasty, alongside his former X Foundation tag team partner, Scott Lost, his new tag team partner, Chris Bosch, and the current TNT champion, Scorpio Sky.
And Jade Chung.
And Jade Chung, thank you.
I remember Jade Chung.
I remember Jade. I just don't know how many other people would know Jade.
Google Jade Chung or off the ear because you'll thank us later. Carry
on. The whole dick flip spot and that whole comedy part of his shtick started either as I was transitioning out of the business or long after I had already left it. So it's not like he was doing it around the time of the gut check.
Right.
That came way after.
Way after.
The dick spot I've always thought was kind of retarded, and I will give you credit with that. I can see why people would think it's a haha.
Because I'm autistic, you get that pass, by the way. Carry on.
I was going to say, he used the I word. Oh, jeez. He used that. Oh, God. Anyway.
There you go.
I can see why people would think it a haha, but it once, maybe twice, and then move on.
Right.
It's not something that needs to be incorporated into a gimmick, incorporated into a daily or weekly spot.
Or a sponsorship with a porn company.
Yeah, or that. At the end of the day, though, my issue is this. These allegations came out about him 2 years ago and nothing has ever been proven.
Nope.
There have been no lawsuits filed. He has not been taken to court. He has not had to go in front of a trial for jail sentencing. He's just been left alone. It's been keyboard warriorism and people coming out online to file an accusation. And then when he went online to show proof as to where this person was lying in their allegations, no one still wanted to take him seriously, even though he had emails and text messages and Facebook messages to prove his side of the argument. Because in instances like this, it's always the woman is right, the man is dog shit. We've gotten so far removed from a society where we're innocent until proven guilty. You know, look at how long it's taken them to put R. Kelly away, who just this week got sentenced to 30 years. People knew he was fucking underage girls when he married Aaliyah, goddammit, at 15 years old.
I was going to say, he should have been put away for 30 years ago. Basically. Anyway.
You're not wrong.
When he produces an album for a 15-year-old called Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, and his big song is I Don't See Nothing Wrong with a Little Bump and Grind, we got some problems, folks. And these are hits at the same time.
And they just now got him, finally.
Joey Ryan deserves to make a living. If he's going to be blackballed from the professional wrestling industry because of things that he supposedly did that have yet to be proven, then he deserves to work a 9 to 5. Because at the end of the day, no charges have been brought against him. Nothing has been proven.
Right.
If he's going to be not allowed to work any job, period, be it professional wrestling, 9 to 5 Disney, McDonald's fry cook. I don't care.
Right.
Then let me see some allegations start going up in the court of law.
Right.
Otherwise, let the man work. Period.
And at the same time, I'll actually add to this. Despite how dumb the gimmick was, that he did over and over again way too much, which was bound to get him in trouble. Since he did prove these allegations wrong in this video, and again, I haven't seen the video, so I can't comment if that's the case or not, and I'm not going to try to. It's gotten so bad to the point where he should be taking this to a Supreme Court. Seriously.
And to your point, let me make this one other statement before it goes back to our host and moderator, Jeff. As stupid as this gimmick was, and yeah, maybe he shouldn't have been doing this spot, much like Disney needs to be held accountable for not doing a thorough enough background check. How many fucking bookers booked him on their shows off of the strength of how over he was with the spot and gimmick?
Yeah.
And then the minute it became a problem, it was a problem for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that's wrong.
And that's where I have issue with this.
Right.
Jeff, I know your opinion on Joey is extremely different from mine. Bring us home.
I will promise here and now to try to keep this as short as possible because I'm so skewed and I very much don't want to turn this into a bash session. Great American Bash is Tuesday, not tonight.
Yes.
Although he was Real American Hero Tag Team Champion, so it kind of goes anyway. If you know, you know.
Alongside Carl Anderson.
That's right. All right. Joey's wrong for thinking it would be okay long term to have a gimmick based on a dick spot. Much like Candace is wrong for thinking, okay, it would be haha to go on with it and use the booplex. That's wrong too.
Mm-hmm.
Disney's wrong for not doing a thorough background check. Yep. So there's nobody that's right here.
No.
My argument is solely this. It's personal and it's wrong of me as I look back on it now. But you know what? I can't remove myself from it. Karma is karma is karma. That guy was a dickhead to me 20 seconds after seeing my face for the first time. He gave me no quarter whatsoever. It didn't matter who I came into the venue with. It didn't matter who my other friends were in the company he was at the time. It didn't matter. He formed an immediate judgment on me because I was a 21-year-old fat little wannabe journalist wrestling fan that his friend, and I won't out her on this show, but she knows who she is, brought me to the show to do the interview with her at the time. And I still say Joey's always had a thing for her. I don't know that for sure. That's my observations. He formed an instant judgment on me at that point and never let it go. Ever. He fucked with us the entire time we did the various shows around SoCal to the point where we did a show in my home area at the New Hall Legion Hall, and we were interviewing Human Tornado and Candice LeRae, who were kind of like a on-screen pair at the time. And Joey and Scott, I give a pass because Scott was actually trying to be funny about it. Joey took the camera out of Aaron's hand and wandered into the men's restroom, just messing with Scott and just filming without asking Aaron if it was okay to take the camera. Just did it because he's Joey Ryan and he can. I took pictures with everybody on the talent roster, PWG, at Bolo 2007, down in Los Angeles. Everybody did a nice pose with me. Joey demanded he have a fucking Kit Kat being bit in his mouth. Just to make the picture look like shit. Because he's an asshole. So, Joseph is wrong for thinking a gimmick like that should sustain him long term. Disney, the Walt Disney Company, is wrong for not being thrown the background check. Yep. But karma is what has got Joseph in trouble because his allowance of himself to be Joey Ryan with me 24/7, and with a lot of other people I do know about. You guys seem to be, JJ, you and the Long Beach crew seem to be the very small exception that I've ever heard of. Karma's a bitch, dude, and it just fucked you in the ass, and I'm sorry. But I'm really not.
I'm not either.
Just to show you guys how polar opposite me and Jeff's experience are with this guy. Okay. Joey was one of the first guys that I met when I went to PWG. Mm-hmm. Joey went with me, my daughter's mom, Stat Boy, and one of our other friends at the time to Disneyland with us.
Yep.
When I took one of my hiatuses from professional wrestling and then came back to my first show after at least a good 2 years, one of the first championship wrestling tapings I went to, I saw him post-show. He walked up to me like I was talking about that fraternity. Hey, man, where have you been? Didn't give me a side hug, not a bro hug, but a legitimate embrace. Just to show how polar opposite our two experiences have been. Yes, James.
If I may ask, how long ago was that experience that you had with Joey Ryan?
Me?
JJ.
It's been a while. When would you say championship wrestling was really getting rolling, Jeff? 2010?
I would say it was when I was pretty much all but done with Aaron at that point. So 2011, maybe even early 2012.
Okay, but I had gone to a few shows at the Galaxy before they moved to the Region Showcase. So I'm going to say 2010.
Yeah. The stuff at the Galaxy was definitely 2010 because we were at those shows together as well. So and again,
okay.
Yeah.
When was your incident, Jeff?
Before that.
Which one? James, the very first independent show I went to as a more than just a fan. Okay. So I'm talking May, maybe even June 2004.
Wow. Okay, that's
like I said, the first day I met this guy, instant barrier that has never even remotely crumbled, let alone come down.
See, and the only thing I can think of is the fact that Jeff went in there that day as a journalist, as someone trying to get inside of the industry.
Went to it as a fan.
And I went to it the first time and met him as a fan.
And both of them were pre-Dick Spot.
Yeah, both of them
were way before pre-Dick Spot, way before.
I went and saw him when he was still the technical wizard, Joey Ryan, and his shirt looked like the old Return of the Jedi logo.
And his gimmick for a while coming out was dressing in Jedi or Sith robes.
Yes.
Like that's really what it was. And we got a kick out of that gimmick because it was fun to watch. No, Joey, again, the whole sleazy thing with Joey really goes back to the gimmick right after that. He started coming out to the Magnum PI theme.
Yep.
Complete with non-button Hawaiian shirts with his chest hair being, even Tom Selleck could go, dude, close that shit up. And he would preface the Magnum PI dun, 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 with, who wants a mustache ride? Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, that was the gimmick.
Oh, there's that bot again, right as we're talking about it.
Why? You know.
I swear it's on purpose.
I feel like that's a good time to. We got porn bots as we're talking about the pornplex Joey Ryan.
Oh my God.
It's fine. Just continue, because I need to hear this so I can.
It's just so funny that it happens now.
Yeah. You were saying though.
It would have been even funnier if it had happened when you threw up that picture of Valerie.
Yeah, that would have been made only slightly more sense. Okay, so Yeah, Joey, and again, it went from being called the Duff Drop because of Hillary Duff to the Mustache Ride. Basically, his finisher was a swinging neckbreaker off the ropes. Badass finisher.
Yep.
But because he's sleazy Joey Ryan, to the point where, like, what his most famous shirt at the time was just like a headshot of him, and it said keeping it something to do with sleazy. And I'm thinking,
yeah, it was the 2010 Joey Ryan that I saw. That yeah.
Okay, yeah, that god awful like powder blue freaking shirt. Yeah. Oh,
whatever year he was on Gut Check, I remember.
Well, no, again, this was all what got him to the dance of Gut Check, and what really just mucker thumped me so much. And JJ knows this. Joey's the reason Taz banned me on Twitter because I defended Joey to Taz, and then when Taz didn't like it, I called him an overgrown Oompa Loompa wearing orange or something to that effect.
Damn.
So the reason fucking Taz blocks me on Twitter is because of Joey fucking Ryan.
You actually defended him.
Yeah.
Even though he was a
which is where the
jackass.
saying, Oompa Loompa Doompa-dee-doo.
Yeah.
Beat me if you can, survive if I
When
let
did you start doing the dick spot? Does anybody remember? I don't even know anymore.
It was definitely not so long after. Yeah.
I was gonna say I stopped watching in about 2012. So let's say maybe 2013, 2014.
It was definitely toward the middle part of the 2010s, and I remember because I had stopped going to indies on the regular in 2013. Period. I didn't go to a single show but WWE after that point. So I did not see Joey because they wouldn't hire him for reasons, except for freaking one-offs and doing the job to the big stars, which he did on the regular. So good for him. But yeah, I had such a hard time feeling. And again, JJ knows this almost as much as Aaron does, probably even more so because I actually live with JJ on the regular. I have let go of so much crap with so many people in wrestling. Like, I've gone up to people and purposely made nice, biting back bile in my throat because I didn't want to have drama going to these shows again.
Right.
I've tried with Joey, and he won't allow it.
Yep.
For whatever reason, he made the judgment on me from day one. And I know you mentioned why, Jay, but the fact that I walked in there with, I'll tell you off the air. If you don't remember, I'll tell you guys too, because you don't know. Should not have been the reason for that because they were buds. And if I walk in with person, it should have been the complete opposite.
Yep.
And it wasn't. And I'll never understand it because I've not been allowed the explanation to understand it.
There you go.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I'm wrong when I've tried very hard to make it right, or at least not address it publicly until tonight anyway. And I still get every time I've ever ran into him in the last 18 years has been just ugh. And I appreciate that, Richard. I understand that. And like I said, I've pretty much made peace with everybody else I had shit with.
Yep.
Will I work with those people again? Absolutely not. I've been told that by them. I've told that to them, some of these people. Joey's just a special breed, I guess. I don't know.
I guess so.
All right, that was way
I feel like
that's than I want it to be. Yeah.
A good way to end this tonight.
All right. So
7.5 hours of broadcasting almost, and we still have the shameless plugs.
Yes.
Good Lord Almighty.
So
I was gonna say I kind of want to get to the plugs because now I feel depressed. I'm not gonna lie,
Right.
dude. Holy
yeah.
shit.
Well, luckily we gave.
Keep in mind, this was going to be the curtain jerker topic if Statboy had stayed, because Statboy at one point worked at Disneyland. So having gone through the Disney hiring system and everything, he would have been able to give a little bit more insight onto the way that goes. Both Jeff and I have interviewed with Disney in the past. I was denied because they said I wasn't energetic enough about the product. I'm doing an entire fucking month about the Disney Renaissance, but I'm not energetic enough about the product. Okay, Disney.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say anything.
That's JJ's next
You know
shows
what?
on Renegades Reviews.
You've got my graphic up. Let's just go ahead and start with my plugs.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make sure you guys tune in to Renegades Reviews this month, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, as I present movies, going back into the Disney vault, going through the Disney Renaissance. You see pictured there Aladdin, Lion King, Goofy movie. We've got Pocahontas and Pocahontas 2. We've got a Goofy movie, an extremely Goofy movie, Hunchback of Notre Dame, etc. New release Saturdays, I'm going to be talking about Buzz Lightyear went up earlier today. Thank you to all those who tuned in and joined me for that one. Next week will be Spiderhead, a Netflix original with Chris Hemsworth, Journey Smollett, and Miles Teller. And those of you that scratching your head like, hey, do I recognize that name, Journey Smollett? Yeah, it was Denise on Full House, one of Michelle's best friends.
It's the one small that hasn't caused trouble in Hollywood.
We've also got the Elvis film with Tom Hanks as Colonel Tom Parker, Thor: Love and Thunder, and then The Gray Man to close out the month of July.
And also not pictured here was Friday's Beauty and the Beast review, which I did not include because we were going to talk about that later, but that's okay.
And in addition to all that, of course, the War Zone every Sunday, where I present the newest additions to my ever-growing movie library.
Yes, sir. And then, for the first time anywhere that he's talked about it, we have his August schedule.
Dun, dun, dun. That's right. August is my birthday month, so we're just going to be presenting a bunch of movies that I've enjoyed over the years growing up. Bookending the opening week with a pair of Fred Savage movies, Little Monsters and Vice Versa. Like Father, Like Son to kind of buffer the week. Those of you that are in the know, Like Father, Like Son and Vice Versa is essentially the exact same movie. It's just a matter of would you prefer Kirk Cameron or Fred Savage, Dudley Moore or Judge Reinhold. We've got Maverick with Mel Gibson, Last Action Hero, quite possibly my favorite Schwarzenegger film of all time.
Wow.
The fantasy western Purgatory, where a bunch of Wild West outlaws get stuck in Purgatory, this town in the States, and if they can survive 10 years without any of the vices, they can go to heaven. We've got a week of Keenan and Kel, Fat Albert, Mystery Men, and Good Burger.
Good Burger.
The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Sidekicks with Chuck Norris and Jonathan Brandis, Surf Ninjas with Rob Schneider and Ernie Reyes Jr., and then closing out the month with Dick Tracy and Josie and the Pussycats, plus new release Saturdays, plus again the War Zone every Sunday.
And scene. Good stuff. But yes, Beauty and the Beast he did Friday, yesterday. Again, because he left off at his Disney reviews at Little Mermaid, which is the movie right before, of course, Beauty and the Beast. So he's just picking up where he left off, as we do at Disney and we do with films. You know, we pick up where we left off. So check that out. I still haven't seen Lightyear, Jay, so I haven't watched the review yet because I want to actually see the damn movie. I'm sorry. It's been a crazy week. I'm trying. I really am.
As long as we get our 4th of July, Dad's Not Always on Wrestling up there in time, then you are forgiven, sir.
I am working on that right now. I've been doing it all night. I've been doing the editing. So that's why I've been off camera so much during the show itself. But yes, that is going to be up Monday, so I'll go ahead and throw that in the plug machine.
Plug machine.
There we go. Somebody, oh, my Betsy girl! My God, she scared the shit out of me. Hi, come here. Hi, baby. Oh my God, scared the hell out of me. Okay, scared me, dog. Jeez, come here. Hey, I'm still on the air, but you can still come say hi. Come here. Oh, there's my girl.
We need to see a dog.
Well, she's not a big jumper. She used to be. Come here. Hey, easy.
Meow. Meow.
Monday, while Jeff goes ecstatic with his pup, on Monday, Independence Day, Jeff and I will be presenting Will Smith's greatest songs. We don't just have one top 10 list, we have two. We did the top 10 solo Will Smith songs, as well as the top 10 DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince songs, with one honorable mention. So 21 songs from Will Smith's discography to give you guys for that Big Willie party on Independence Day.
That's right, because we're actually going to be with our families and not on the air live with you crazy people. So,
It was
Jesus.
a pre-tape for the first time info ever.
For the first time. Oh, wait, no, that's coming later in Disney reviews. Much later.
Forever.
Also coming. No, you actually you did that one, so it's okay. All right, James.
Yes. Hello.
Plug away, my friend.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to find my plug. There we go. I don't know if does screen share work for audio or no.
For audio, no.
That's kind of what I figured. All right. Well, I can't. Am I able to share a video file with you? I have no idea.
You should.
Okay. Well, guess what? That's what I'm gonna do. So let Noah go first.
No, go ahead.
What?
No, I'm not tired. No, Noah tired. Okay.
You got to plug Noah.
Sorry. People you want to know more about me, know this. I am just a simple man and a lifelong fan of professional wrestling. Damn it!
Damn it! And Jeff, it says I'm having trouble sending the file.
All right, well, just verbalize it and we'll try to gloss over it. There you go. Yeah.
I'll just share my screen. No big deal without sound.
It's all right. Shoot, I'm not one to promote myself, but I'm always happy to promote where you can always be encouraged to try and enjoy wrestling. So find me on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Boston 1916 for all things wrestling.
And of course, the next time we'll see Noah doing commentary on the Jeff Meacham Network will be July 23rd, 3 weeks from tonight, as we go back to the new era of Honor, the return of Honor, as Death Before Dishonor goes live on pay-per-view. So stoked.
I'm ready.
Freaking go. And thank you, Richard Morales. I'm happy that you enjoy the commentary that I bring forward. And JJ, again, we are the WWE team. It's always a pleasure, my friend. This was a lot of fun.
Come here, baby girl. Oh, my goodness. So sad.
I completely agree, man. I enjoyed this. This was a good show to call.
I will be also for Ring of Honor's show.
Yes.
I love me some Ring of Honor, and that card is looking like it's going to be very promising just from the poster alone. So
Honor is real. And stay tuned for me giving more All Elite coverage on the Daily Slam. But as always, I'd like to conclude, there are no winners, no losers, no betters. There's just fans with opinions for this passion we all share. At the end of the day, folks, support one another. Respect each other. Protect your mentality, too. Like staying off Twitter. And just enjoy life and enjoy professional wrestling too. It's as simple as that.
Oh, hi, doggy.
This bag's not here. Yeah. I'm not Santa. What are you talking about?
Hi, doggy.
My dog is asleep.
Oh, he's so pitiful.
My mom's dog is asleep with her.
I got a spot. Oh my God.
Yep.
So pitiful, this dog. So pitiful this time.
And for those that are wondering why I've been looking away, I've been working on 3 different leagues updates. Okay?
That's not a problem, brother. Trust me.
Worries,
You're the hardest working man in show business. I swear to God, dude.
Bro, you ought to make that a show, legitimately. Just call it Noah's Grand Bracket or Noah's Grand Predictions League, every single month for a pay-per-view. Seriously, that shit writes itself.
And then when you're on the NoDQ review and then you're on with us after dark, you should just be in the dark, just for the shits and giggles of it.
Oh yeah.
I'll just be the banker from Do or No Do about the LED background.
Yes, I understand that reference and approve it wholeheartedly.
Thank you, Jeff.
At one point, Darren Young called himself Mr. No Days Off.
Right.
I think Aaron can dispute him for that title.
Yes, Noah can definitely dispute Darren for No Days Off, no doubt about it, and we love him for it.
Fred Rosser.
Yes, Fred Rosser. Yes, Fred Rosser.
Now the new, might I add, strong overweight champion.
Yes.
Tom Lawler has been dethroned.
Finally got Fred some gold outside of America, and we're happy for him. All right, so where are we at here? Okay, so James, do you want to do your plug that's in queued up here?
Yes, I would, because I got to kind of show this off on the Jeff Meacham Network. So, for those who are wondering what I've been up to this week and what recommendations I recommend you check out of content that we have all done as a collective of FTW Productions, this is what you can expect coming up here as far as FTW Productions is concerned, which includes the Simple Man Studios, Wrestling Fortune 44, Insanity Works Studios, Jay Hebert Studios, and Owen the Talkinator Studios. NASCAR Thunder 2004 Let's Play, WYW Gold Rush Watch Along will be on Casey's channel as well. a Wrestling Rundown and ATW View crossover that happened this week. So check that out. Also, stay tuned to Casey's channel for Road to 100 Super Mario Sunshine Let's Play. AEW Spark every week on the Wrestling Fortune 44 Incorporated channel. Indy Force number 25. Check that out right now. That's a great episode. Blood and Guts Watch Party on demand currently right now on my channel. As we said earlier in the broadcast, Jeff Meacham has Death Before Dishonor live coverage. WYW Immortal, which I will always plug. Definitely give that a watch. Super Mario Brothers Z episodes 1 and 2, voice acted by FTW Productions. Check that out. Every Tuesday, intro created by myself. If you want to check out live rounds, check that out. And
jeez.
There's the Jeff Hardy podcast timeline. Definitely give that a watch.
Yes.
And that's it.
Finito. Very good. Very good.
Very nice. Very nice, my friend. Very nice.
So I made JJ a calendar with July and August, and we decided because we're not sure about that. I made my own. I don't want to do James's calendar. James's calendar frightens me just on principle because there's so much shit going on. Good lordy.
Well, again, there's previews and recommendations.
Yes, quite so.
There you go.
All right, so let me just make sure I got all my shit in, pal. Let's see. Again, JJ mentioned Monday we're going live. Not live. Live. It says live. It's not. It's a lie. With Dads and Always in Wrestling, Top 10 Will Smith Greatest Songs, and of course, Tuesdays Talk Wrestling, Wednesdays the Greg Cherry Show, Thursday I believe I'm off this week, I think, yes, and Friday as well. Actually, I'm off this.
For you on Thursday?
What?
No review for you on Thursday?
I don't know. It depends what the boss says. I don't know. We shall see.
I remember last week when they said that the three of us were in the queue and I took the final spot. I think they said you two would be on this coming week.
Me and Jeff. Yeah. That's true, yeah.
Whatever Aaron and Virtue decide, I am gonna be on that. Whatever.
I'll be disappointed again, Pat, because they own the night. Damn, Against All Odds was amazing.
I'm gonna go back and watch that tonight if I get the opportunity. And once this dog stops, I haven't seen this dog in a week, so she's like, "What the hell? Where have you been? Why are you not here, fat man? What's going on?" So, all right. So yeah, Dad's on Monday, of course. Talk Wrestling Tuesday. Greg Cherry Show Wednesday. But I have been asked, not to ban it. I've been asked, so I'm going to go ahead and honor the request to end our coverage of Money in the Bank, our latest open mic night, with this wonderful image that should have happened a long damn time ago.
That's a beautiful sight.
That is pretty cool.
Courtesy of Bianca's Instagram.
Yes, let me just get in there close so I can actually see the faces.
Congratulations, Liv Morgan. You finally accomplished it, and you damn sure deserved it.
That just makes my friggin' day. It really does. I am so happy for Liv. I've never been happier to be wrong in my life.
Well,
so
you were the one that mentioned that if the Money in the Bank briefcase match happens before the title matches,
right,
we could very well have a cash in tonight.
I just didn't count it being Liv, so I'm
talked about it, JJ. We literally talked about it. It happened.
Yep. And before we go, we're being told that once Money in the Bank was over, Vince made a smart decision for once and walked in and went to the show that is drawing money tonight. Vince Stefano and McAfee at the pay-per-view down at T-Mobile.
There you go.
So see, even Vince knows when he's made a mistake. He just ain't going to say it out loud on television.
So yeah, I figured our final topic, the Joey topic, was such a downer, depressing topic that when I saw that on Instagram, thought that was the perfect way to end tonight. Gentlemen, Noah, it was a pleasure calling the action with you. I look forward to doing my first Big Four pay-per-view with you, PLE, at the end of the month, as the Jeff Meacham Network will present SummerSlam. James, even though you weren't on for the action today, thank you for coming in for open mic night, as you always do, and joining us. Jeff, it's been a pleasure being on the channel, as always.
Of course,
Thank
sir,
you
yes.
for having me commentate.
Definitely. All right. I guess I get to say goodnight. So thank you all very, very much. It is greatly appreciated. We will see you. What?
I'm so confused. I felt after I come back to you, didn't you?
Yeah, I was like,
have anything else?
No,
Dot.
I was like, I didn't know what happened. So, yeah, I guess that's it. So, again, congratulations to Liv Morgan. Congrats to Bianca Belair on retaining. Congrats to Theory. Let's give it up for the kid, for real. I mean, people are going to shit on it, but he is, for now at least, Mr. Money in the Bank.
Dadgum Vegas screwed John, screwed everybody in the Dadgum Galaxy, and the team he did not belong in the damn match, wasn't even in the match to begin with.
As they are leaving Las Vegas, heading for the next destination on the 4th of July, we say goodnight from the FTW Production Studios, from the Simple Man Studios, from the Casa D18 Studios, Studio B, as well as the Jeff Meacham Network, back in Studio A. Have a wonderful night, everybody, and we will see you guys Monday for Dads and so much more.